for you guys tonight, and it's going to be another good one because I got my boys Benji and Jaden from LowCulture Car Club here with me tonight, and we're going to have a really good interview with these guys tonight. But before I get into it, right, I'm going to get some of our our notifications and just kind of announcements out of the way, guys. Hey, if you guys haven't checked out our two most recent lives that we did with obviously Exotic Snacks and also the Mach-Fi Dragon and Lion Dance Association, please go check those two videos out. And guys, like I told you guys, this year it's about promoting Asian culture, Asian excellence, and just kind of people who are doing great in the community and just doing good stuff. And hopefully they can inspire us and everyone out there in terms of what they're doing. Also, guys, if you guys would like to donate to the show, we do have our Cashapp and Venmo apps, right? And it's, I believe it's the $ His&Hers, the RP Truth. Is that correct, Liz? I remember?
I think so.
It's in the description, guys. Just look down below. I'm getting old. I'm getting forgetful. But yeah, if you guys like to donate to the show, that would be awesome. Get more equipment, get more cameras for you guys. And of course, obviously, hopefully bring on some more fire guests for you guys as well. Guys, go check out some couple book reads that I'd like to recommend. Obviously from the Godfather himself, Rollo Tomasi, The Rational Male, and then Myron Gaines from Fresh and Fit. He just came out with his new book, Why Women Deserve Less. I know that title sounds very clickbaitish, guys, but those books are a really good read. It's just to kind of let you guys know how the current dating market is out there, and just for men, especially the young men like the guests I have on the show today, just to be aware of kind of what's going out there in kind of the modern dating text, okay? But without further ado, I'm going to get everyone to introduce themselves. First off, for example, my wife isn't here with me tonight. We have the lovely Liz on the show today. She's normally behind the scenes doing a lot of great stuff for us behind the scenes, but she's going to be in front of the camera this time. But guys, yeah, if you guys don't mind, I'll start with Liz, and you guys want to introduce yourself, obviously your name, your age, your relationship status, and then just kind of a cool thing maybe that someone doesn't, that people don't know about you out there, okay? Cool.
So my name is Liz. I am you said?
Yeah.
I'm 34, I think. Yes, I'm 34. No, I'm 21. I'm in profession?
Yeah, if you want to say your job and then also kind of relationship status.
Okay. I'm in the IT industry and the automotive industry. And relationship status, I am engaged.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And something interesting about me, I speak 7 languages, but I'm Asian, so that's kind of the norm or what's expected.
Cool.
All right. How about yourself?
So my name is Benji. I'm 18. I'm going to be 19 in June. My profession right now, I work with my mother. I clean houses, and I'm pretty good with automotive. We have a shop at the house, so we work there. Right now, my relationship status is it's complicated for the moment.
Situationships?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
It's going. Let's see. An interesting fact about me is, I'm Benji. You know me, I'm interesting, so there's nothing I could really say, honestly, off the top of my head.
I like that. All right. How about yourself?
All right, guys. My name is Jaden. I am 17. Let's see here. Well, first off, I work as a barista in Starbucks. It's basically my first job, but I'm willing to do something more bigger than that. Mostly because I have a really expensive hobby. So the one thing I like to do is work on cars and deal with cameras and stuff, because I like to do photography and videography. And
what about relationship status?
Relationship status. Let's see here.
Complicated as well?
No, not even. No. I am single. And yeah,
Okay.
pretty much.
But still playing the game, right? You're out there playing the field, I hope?
You already know.
Okay, all right. I do that already.
Should we drop your Instagram?
Get some young ladies out there to follow you. Hopefully hit you up on the Instagram, right? If you guys didn't know already, I mean, we'll get into it later in the show because I want to get about you guys and what you guys are doing out there. So, okay. But Instagram's like the #1 dating app out there right now. like everyone uses it for dating. So yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. So, but hey guys, so like I said, these guys are doing great stuff. They're doing this car club, right? LowCulture Car Club. Is that the name of it? Do you guys call yourself a car club, or do you guys differentiate it as something else?
It's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, right.
Huh.
We started off as really small, as just as friends, so we could just hang out, take photos. But then me, Jaden, and Juan, I think we've made it into first as a group, and now it's as a club. And slowly, as we become bigger and bigger, I think we'll become as a known name in the YouTube industry as Eliminate. I think I sort of have a vision like that. That's the best I could say, but we more strive towards what StanceWords does as well.
Okay.
I have, oh, I'm sorry. I know the owner of StanceWords, so I know the pathway that I could take LowCulture, or that we could take LowCulture.
Okay.
It's just, from what I'm seeing, it's going to take a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of help from support of the community.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we start from the beginning then? Why don't you guys tell a little bit about each of kind of your background, maybe just like ethnicity and kind of just a little bit, right? Just kind of a little bit of background about you guys, where you guys grew up, right?
Mm-hmm.
How did you guys even get into the love of cars, right, and wanting to do cars? And then, of course, lastly, how did you guys meet? Okay, and we'll start with Jaden. Go ahead, Jaden.
All right, so okay, let's start here. So I was born and raised in White Center, Washington, and which is more like in the West Seattle area ish. And
It used to be the hood, you guys. Let's not be honest. I grew up in there too, so I know. But it's totally gentrified now. I
Oh,
totally
yeah,
get it.
yeah, a
100%,
lot.
Yeah,
a lot has
Somewhere like
changed.
Seattle?
yeah. It's like Berrien, White Center area. Yeah, South Seattle area. Yeah. But anyway, sorry.
No worries. Yeah, so I was born and raised in White Center, and let's just say, for me getting into cars, I was really inspired by friends and family that I would be really close with. First off is my uncle. He used to be into stance, and now that he's been like a dad for many years, like probably I would say almost the past 10 years, like he started like building his car into like just like a regular dad car, like nothing crazy, nothing too low. But when he was in his young years, he was more into like the stance life, and from like the photos and videos that he used to show me, it got me super inspired that like I want to be like that. So I just had like a dream like that, like how he used to have it in his younger years, and I wanted to be like that too. And
Was he like a good role model too? Did he like take you to the shows and that type of stuff as well too? Or?
We were close, but we weren't like super close because he lives on the other side of the the U.S. He lives on the east side.
Oh, gotcha.
And every time when I would see him, he would always take me rides, and he has a 240 SX, all Type X, and
Nice.
That's very
yeah.
cool.
So just everything in general like just inspires me. He would always go to like car meets, like basically every night. But yeah, starting around like quarantine, I got my car gifted. It's just a base model Civic, 4-door. I got my car gifted, and just the more I look at that car, I was just like, you know what? Let's kind of make my dreams a bit come true. It's not what I really wanted, but I gotta do something. And here I am now, in a car group, being one of the leaders, and being with Benji as well, and Juan, which he's not here right now. Just doing something to, make our dreams come true.
Yeah. No, I think a lot of kids can like relate to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Getting your first car, getting that sense of freedom. You guys got to remember too; these guys are pretty still young.
Yeah.
So just getting their car. What like the last 2 years you said during COVID, pretty much is when you got it. So yeah. No, I mean I remember when I got my first car. I'm sure a lot of us could remember that was like our first sense of freedom.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, well, how about yourself, Benji?
So, from the beginning, let's see. I was born in Renton, but I grew up in Kent. So it was the Kent life. It was fun when by around the age 7, I think we moved to Burien, but I was still around the Kent life because my sister was the one who introduced me into cars. My dad was a mechanic. He studied to be a mechanic, but my sister was the one who was more into the races. She always took me to Kent races.
Was she doing the races herself too? Not to incriminate her or nothing like that. I'm just saying, that's pretty cool. You know, she's a female and she's like doing kind of a more male dominated.
I can't give you an answer for that one,
Okay, fair
but
enough.
we were watching them. I could tell you that.
Yeah.
I remember running at that age from the races. That was pretty much my introduction into the car community. At first, I didn't really acknowledge it like that. I was just like, oh, I really like these cars, but I didn't know the names. I didn't know anything like that until my dad, he's like, okay, you're gonna come help me, you're gonna hold the light, and he started yelling at you while you're holding the light. So that's he and my sister and my brother, because we're all it just runs in the family. But if we're talking mechanic side, it's my father, and Stan's side, it's the children, me and my brother and my sister. At the age 16, my brother and my dad went to go pick up the S2000, and they were gonna flip it. And I recently sold my Saab. I had a Saab 9.3, and that car is what got me into, like, I could say into the car community, because with that car, me and Juan were racing.
With the Saab, huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
He had
Very
a
interesting car.
I think it's his CL. He had an
Yeah.
Acura CL, and I had my Saab. So we were just racing. We put the friends in the back, and I remember he was like a one passenger. I had like 4 guys in the back, and we were still pushing. But that's what got me into it. I sold that car, and I didn't have a car, so I was just looking in the market. I was gonna get a Genesis. I wanted a coupe. I don't like people in my car.
Yeah.
So
well, after that first experience,
yeah,
it probably made your car hella slow.
It really did. It really did. But I saw the S2000. I was like, well, I'll work to it. I'll pay you off for it. So I woke up one day and it was my birthday. My mom gave me the keys. I was like, no way, you dead ass? And she was like, yeah. So I kept the car stock for maybe a year and a half. I focused on maintenance. It was high mileage. Right now, it's sitting at 198, and I got it at like 195.
Okay.
So over 3 years, you can see I haven't really driven it.
Yeah.
I spent a good chunk of money. I don't want to think how much, but it's in the thousands.
It's probably smart. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a car that I really, really love. I drive any other car. It's not the same feeling. I'm sure if you've driven S2K before. Yeah. It's a good feeling. So right now I'm building it slowly, but there's S2K tax that it hurts, because as a young person, you don't make money like that. A lot of people, they assume you have money just because of what you have, but they don't see the hard work that you put in to get it. But that's where I'm at.
That's bars, guys. That's a very good life lesson to learn at such a young age.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't see the grind that comes with that success. You know, people just look at the end result.
Yep.
Yeah. 100.
That's what got me into the car community. Me, Juan, and Jaden have created this into a bigger than what we expected, I believe.
Okay. So how did you two first met then?
Middle school?
Yeah.
Okay, so going to the same school.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then did you guys kind of like had your cars, you know, or the love of cars was then already too, or just that kind of developed through the years?
Actually,
It was years after that.
yeah, because I think I didn't like Jaden at first.
Yeah. It was
Okay,
a-
well,
it was fully-
touch on that story real quick, then. Go ahead, touch on that story real quick.
I
then.
honestly, I didn't even have a reason. I just saw him, and I think it's because I didn't know him. And when I see people that I don't know, it bothers me, because I'm like, because I saw him and I was like, why is he hanging around my friends? I'm like, who is he? Like, I didn't like him. When I don't like people, I just don't talk to you. And so I was mugged at him. But I think he was friends with Juan, and through Juan we got introduced, sort of. Mainly the group brought us together. But I didn't even like know Juan in person until like quarantine. Basically, like almost at the start of LowCulture. Like I would always, slide up on his story, because like when he got the S13, I was like, bro, that looks so nice. That shit looks so nice, bro. And then later on, like
probably around like July.
Yeah.
He was
I
like,
think it was around there.
yeah, he was like, hey bro, we're gonna do a car group. Do you want to be in it? And I'm just like sure, for the fuck of it, yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's when I finally, get to meet you. Like once again, after, who knows how long have we been like since the last time we saw each other in person.
Mm-hmm.
But
Got it. So you guys known each other since middle schools,
Oh,
but you
yeah,
didn't really start connecting until like the last couple years.
Yeah, I think
Did COVID have something to do with that? Just because everyone had nothing to do, everyone was kind of on lockdown, and you guys could work on your cars and just kind of meet up and hang out.
I think more for them. I live in Marysville, Tulalip, so because I grew up in Burien, so we're really really close. I know for them they could link up whenever, so it's just hard for me to go all the way down. But through COVID, I don't know if that helped you guys connect.
it kind of did, because being in COVID and staying at home like for a long time as well, especially like being young and being in school, like you have online school and stuff. We would always be on our phones. I mean, for me, I don't know for anyone else, but for me, I'm always on my phone. So I think communicating with other people online, especially like Juan and everyone else, like I think it just made a bigger like connection, and that's how me and Juan connected. And then later on it was you and Juan that connected.
So what broke the ice? Like what made you guys? Well, I mean, I know you didn't really like him, but did did you share the same opinion about him, or you just didn't know him? And
honestly, I didn't even know him.
Okay, so what broke the ice? What made you guys like, hey man, these guys are cool, and
we just never talked.
Yeah.
Okay.
Once I started talking to him, I was like, oh, he's a really cool dude, and then I think he could say the same for me.
Oh yeah, most definitely, yeah.
I think you just needed to connect. I think that's the issue with a lot of people. I think I have a resting bitch face, as everyone does, but I think people don't give everybody an opportunity just based on your appearance. But I think that everyone has something in common. You just gotta find it. But even if you don't have something in common, you're gonna argue about that, and maybe that's why that's why you dislike them. But we have cars in common, and I think that what brought us together.
That broke the
Mhm.
ice.
Yeah, I think when we first like met, we didn't even have our cars at the time.
Yeah.
I think the most thing that I remember, it's always fitness. It's always fitness class, bro. Remember
Yeah.
dodgeball?
Yeah. we had
Working
class
out.
together. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this was in school.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
This was in school. Okay. So why don't you guys touch on that real quick before I get into more of your car club? Because I definitely want to promote you guys. Hey guys, these guys are doing it really good. For young kids, I really was impressed on how they ran their car club when we hosted a meet together with them. So we'll get into that here in a second, right? But yeah, I mean, how do you guys think about kind of this new generation of how you guys communicate as, I don't want to call you guys kids because you guys are young adults, right? But this Gen Z millennial generation, right? Like my age, we didn't have cell phones, so you were forced to talk to people. But what do you guys think about kind of like how does that influence meeting up with people and getting to know people? And like what Benji alluded to, kind of like maybe not even given the opportunity to talk to people right off,
Well, honestly, the issue what I see for our age group is we're all too fantasize of trying to become someone who we're not. Like, I think Instagram plays a big role, and sadly TikTok. I think people are like, oh, I gotta get famous so people can like me, people can talk to me. And I think that is the reason why people don't go out and talk to people anymore. They're like, I've tried going up to people and being like, just nice to them, and then they're mugging at you. They're like, who's this stranger talking to me? Like, you're not even gonna try to connect with someone. But I think that's a big issue. People have too big of an ego to try to step down to someone else's level. Not saying that they're better. Nobody's better than anybody. Everyone's the same.
Where's the ego coming from, though, you think?
I think the ego either comes from money or social status, or mainly we could go way back and talk about like your class, like mid-class, high class, or low class of how you live.
And this is getting like notified on Instagram though, or like social media. You guys are seeing that on the social media, and that's how you know where they fall. Is that?
I think Well, I think if we're strictly talking about social media, people just focus on your followers. Whatever you have, I've seen people with, if we're talking cars, I've seen people with nice cars and they don't have followers. They don't get views. I've seen people with shitty ass cars and they're getting like good views, good followers. But it's a weird thing. But I think if, let's say I have 10,000 followers, people are going to be like, oh, I really want to be his friend just because he has that's not 10,000 followers, but I could be an asshole. But if someone has 200 followers, they could be the sweetest person in the world. But you never know because you don't even try. You don't try to connect. You go for the bigger person because most days people just want what's called clout. So at least that's how I see it.
No, that's actually very good insight. That's actually a very good insight.
Very.
Yeah. What do you think about yourself, Jaden? Why?
I see it the same way. I don't really know how to explain it honestly, but I see where he's coming from. You know,
Yeah.
like how he explained it. I see where that's coming from, honestly. But for me, I got nothing else to say. I agree with him the most. But yeah.
Okay. You want to add anything, Liz? I want to make sure you get an opportunity to chat. I can kind of talk my mouth off. So.
So is it safe to say you guys think technology now is what is making a lot more people, I guess, antisocial?
Yes.
Okay.
I think there's no way around that. It's just, I think it's made everybody very antisocial and very anxious to meet others.
It's making everyone introverted as well.
Interesting. Okay.
And then I guess the other question is, so you say clout and talking about how like your comment, going back to your comment about how like people with nice cars and like low followers. So here's an example. I have 24,000 followers, but I don't really post stuff about my cars. Would you guys all assume that I only have a lot of followers because I'm a female? I mean, let's be honest. That's probably why, right?
Well, what do you post? It depends what you post and how you persuade yourself on your page.
Well, I don't have an OF page.
Okay.
I don't really post stuff about my cars, even though I should, because everyone likes my cars. I play video games.
I think that's mainly why, because I've also was in the gaming community. I was slowly growing, but I stopped. But I think that's mainly where you get it. I think the female thing, it does play a part. I'm like, why is this, all I need is a girl to be in my video and I'll get more views. I think that's just how the algorithm is in Instagram. But if we're talking about in your situation, you don't post your car, but you have a lot of followers. I think it mainly comes from the gaming, and mainly since you game and you're a female, a lot of guys are attracted to that, and they want to see that. So I think that's why you have followers.
What are your thoughts are? What do you think, Jan?
Honestly, do not know like what to say.
Okay, gotcha. Well, I think why is because like we never analyze the stats, right? We never analyze and look into it. But unfortunately, guys, the honest truth is, I mean, female attention is something that's very capable on Instagram and social media, and that is the main reason, right? And we kind of get into that with kind of like the dating and relationship topics that we talk about on this show. So I'm gonna hold on that a little bit because I think I want to touch into that a little bit, but maybe to segue from that conversation, how are you guys using that? Knowing that people are kind of going through social media avenues to connect with people, how you guys have been using that to promote what you guys are doing with your car club and kind of what you're trying to do.
Do you want to go on this one?
I would love to. Oh, okay. So we could go half-half. Okay. I mean, first off, there's a lot of people that likes cars, and and people that likes cars, they're always on social media, and
would you say this generation is almost trained? That's where they're going to go find the information, is some type of social media outlet. Your guys' generation, TikTok or Instagram?
Yeah, because, usually like being on social media, like, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, there's always like suggestions, and sometimes, one of our posts from our group page would pop up, and that's how people would,
find out about us.
Yeah, most likely, yeah.
Well, can you actually rephrase your question to me?
Yeah, I guess like, knowing like, you guys kind of obviously in a way kind of instinctually sense it, right? That people are communicating through these social media outlets, right? Connecting with one another. Shoot, even you two connected with each other through social media in one form or another. So how are you guys using that to your advantage to kind of like, promote what you guys are doing, your car club, your branding and everything like that?
I see I see what other car groups and are doing. As I go back to what Stansworth does, I see what Eliminate does. I see these smaller groups that we have in Washington, like Washington Car Scene, Apathy. I see what they do, and I'm like, okay, maybe I could do kind of resemble what they do, so I could capture their audience. Because when we're talking about our audience for LowCulture, we're more of a park and chill, park cruise. We're more of a calmer group. We don't do takeovers. We don't do burnouts, stuff like that. It's reckless stuff. Because that's honestly what's killing the car community right now. It's bringing more law enforcement. We're getting harassed more by police, and then people assume everybody as a takeover person. And I think that's kind of what fucks up with the car community. You could do that shit, but you could just do that in a private parking lot. You don't have to do it in the street, and people die, people get injured. I think that's what hurts. But I think we, as a LowCulture, uses its own platform to bring out the good in people, and we all, I think, whenever we had a meet, and I could say it wasn't big, and mainly because it was the location. We had a little issue with that. But everybody who went was really nice, was really sweet. Everybody was cool. Everybody had a good time. I can't say that nobody was disappointed. We could have had more cars, but everybody was really friendly. Everyone was really cool. And people came up to me. They're like, hey, did you organize this? And I was like, yeah. And they was like, it's really cool. Yeah, I had a really good time. And it made me feel good because I was like, well, that's good because the car community right now is dying. It really is. We're not growing. We're losing people because I see people comment a lot. They're like, well, this is why the car community is done. I'm losing motivation. I'm like, well, that's another person that we could have lost, because I think that's what brings people together in general, of a community and of friends and family.
Okay, gotcha. So before I ask the next question, then let's because we kind of skipped over this. We got into kind of a cool topic, right? But what are you guys like? You kind of touched on a little bit of what your car club is about and what you guys do, the type of cars that you guys are trying to push. Like, why don't you guys go into that real quick? Yeah. So what is LowCulture about? What type of cars you guys try to promote? The look, the style. What are you guys are looking for members and that type of stuff as well too?
First things off, as long as they're low,
Okay.
That's what LowCulture is for.
Yeah.
But the way how people let's just say me, the way how I want to have cars, or mainly my car, be like, it's very different from how other people's in our group be. For him, he doesn't want it to be like as low as mine, or other people wanted to look low, but like a track style low or a drift style low, but LowCulture is something like a family.
LowCulture is a family.
It's a family to us. So we don't expect them to be like exactly the same as us, because we have different things, like different types of build with our cars. It is low, but it is like different types, unlike other people.
Is it the people that maybe more so than the car?
That's tough, because we go back to the point that it's a family.
Yeah.
I think we mainly say it's a family because we all can hold a deep conversation, and we can all talk shit on each other, like talk shit, and then
and connect.
Yeah, but we'll all be good at the end of the day. But the good thing is we have the connection between the cars, and now we have the connection of having that relationship with one and another. And we have guys and girls in the group, so people tend to assume, oh, you guys have girls in the group because they're pretty, or they have an ugly car but they're pretty, so why are they in the group? And then, but we kind of look over that fact, and we're like, but it's a nice person. I've seen his car in the beginning. He's seen my car in the beginning. Juan's car in the beginning. People work to their car. It's not like we buy it. We build it. We're not bought, not built. I mean, we're
Yeah.
built, not bought.
Yeah. No,
But,
I know. I get it. Yeah.
but I think that's the issue. People don't see. They're like, oh, why is that person in the group? But we know what their mindset is. As long as you have that right mindset and you have a decent platform, we know what you can do. Then that's what we're looking for. We're looking for people who can support us, support LowCulture, and people who are also respectful. We don't really like people who tend to takeovers or do that dumb shit, honestly, because it gives us a bad name, a bad reputation. And right now we're just trying to build a good reputation. We're trying to become bigger. We're trying to be a good look on the community, and that's really what I am trying to envision. I say it's a car community or a car group. What do you say?
I don't know how to say it because it's kind of like both to me. It's a car community and a car group. Because in our group we connect. And it feels like we're in a community because as like me, you, and like everyone else in the group, like we're really open about like a lot of stuff. And it could be about cars, it could be about personal information and all that stuff. So it's not just about cars. It's it feels like a family.
And that's mainly in our group. When we talk about how we see people outside of a group but they still support us, I look at it as supporters. We have LowCulture support stickers coming soon.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I want to slowly get. And if I see that name LowCulture on someone else's ride, I'll be like, nice, they're supporting. It's gonna give us a good feeling. But also it's gonna, if I see that person rock that sticker, I could go up to them and be like, yo, what's up? And I know that they're gonna be a pretty cool individual person because I know they're in the car community, and 90% of people in the car community are awesome people. Honestly, you rarely find a dickhead. You rarely find someone who's an asshole, but there's that 10%. Yeah. Everyone else is phenomenal. They're super nice, down to earth people, and that's what I like about it.
Okay. Well, hey guys, these guys really impressed me, like I told you guys. Hopefully you guys take this as a compliment. This is a huge compliment because, these guys are like half my age. But the way you guys, collaborated with us on the Thanksgiving food drive, which was for a great cause. But, the way you guys were on point of letting me know, like, how many people were showing up, right? Who your leaders were. You guys came to my shop and obviously introduced yourself. Very respectful, like Benji was saying, right? And the way how organized you guys were when you guys went to our event, parked your cars the right way, interacted with people, showed love to everyone, donated and brought everyone to the show too, and that helped donate to a good cause too. I was super impressed because, guys, like I said, these guys are super young guys, but they're doing the right things, and normally, the people that I see that are doing the right things are, more my age. So I think you guys are a great inspiration to people out there. Not even just young people like yourself, but I think some older people as well too. They could take some of what you're doing and kind of do it the same way for sure. Yeah.
Thanks so
give
much,
yourself a
Juan.
pat on the
Really
back.
appreciate it.
For sure. Okay, so how do you guys see? Because you guys said the car club is kind of dying, so let's kind of stick on this car club talk, right? So how are you guys doing to kind of fight back against that, right? We know about the hoonigan stuff, right? We had that unfortunately at our last event. It kind of happened. It happens, right? There's always a few bad apples that ruins it. But how do you guys? What's your guys' plans to kind of continue promoting what you guys are doing and hopefully helping the car community grow by not doing that stuff?
You go.
So to sum it up, how do you see us helping the car community?
Yeah, where do you guys see yourself in the next few months, next few years? Like, how are you guys going to continue promoting what you guys are doing, which is like I said, really well organized, really respectful, hosting really good shows, obviously good people, right, that have the same mindset, trying to get to good builds, right, built, not bought, but at the same time trying to, push the perception of the car community being that hoonigan type of stuff, right?
Yeah. I think for starters, honestly, it's just accepting everybody. we all we everybody in the car community can agree that we have a personal preference between JDM, EDM, KDM, your American, you anything. We all have a preference. Mine's JDM, but that doesn't mean I don't like Corvettes. That doesn't mean I don't like BMWs. That I personally, I like all these individual other cars. I don't say, oh, Japanese cars are the best, although kind of are. But I really like when Darren's a member in our group. He has a Volkswagen, and we make fun of because it's an egg. And it's a Golf R, but it's sick as hell. And honestly, whenever I see it, it makes me feel nice because it's not something you see all the time. It's different, and that's what I like. And I don't like seeing just straight Japanese cars. I like a diversity in the car community.
Agree.
I think we can slowly like bring back the car community by just hosting more meets. It's hosting more meets, hoping people come out. This summer we're gonna have a lot of meets with gonna have a couple collabs. So keep in touch. We're trying to focus on good locations, but also with good parking. We're also trying to stay away from bad locations with police and just trying to have a good time. But right now we're having the issue of weather. But now that we're going to get into good weather, we'll have no issues. We're going to be hosting meets. We're all going to be doing some sort of thing. But our main goal right now is just to gather more people in the community. Right now we're expanding. I know we have a member all the way in Mount Vernon, myself in Marysville. And we have one in Olympia, unless we have someone further. I think that's as far.
I think Olympia is that.
Yeah, and throughout that whole span, we have members that stay in different locations. But even then, we still find a way to link up. And I think that even if we live far away and we're also coming out to these car meets and supporting, that we could slowly grow as LowCulture and a car community, and we'll have more people come out and show love. I think like that we'll bring back the car community and erase that bad look that bad recognition that the car community has started to gain with all the reckless driving, the injuries, the deaths, and stuff like that. Do you have a say?
Nah, not really.
I got a tough question next time because those all are great ideas. I think those are really good things that you guys are doing,
Appreciate
right?
it.
But knowing how the current culture is, right, with Instagram, with social media that we talked about, right, and it's about getting eyeballs, it's about getting status and clout like you guys have. And unfortunately, I hate to say it, but sometimes that negative stuff, right? And sometimes it's not even really negative, but you touched upon it, Benji, right? Beautiful women, flashy, those type of things is what get views. That's what get eyeballs, right?
Yeah.
So how do you guys kind of do that, but at the same time try to kind of be, mindful of being respectful and keeping it chill and keeping it calm, so that way it doesn't escalate to that point, right? Because there's that fine line of wanting to promote the community, promoting the car scene, getting people to attend the show, because that's kind of what gets them drawn in, right?
I think I'm not necessarily saying that. Let me see. So I can't say that if we could use women to attract more people into our car community, but I don't know. That's a hard question. You did give me a hard question. I don't know. I'll go throw this to Jaden.
Something to think about, yeah.
Can you rephrase it one
Yeah,
more
so
time?
it's we live in this day and age where you guys are doing great things. Everyone that does great things, but they don't get the notoriety or the respect because people want to see flashy things, right? We all know this day and age it's about short TikTok videos, right? Short clips on YouTube, right? And most people take that stuff out of context. They don't really see the substance of the person, right? But unfortunately, it's what get eyeballs. It's what draws people to your channel or what draws people to your guys' community, your car club, right? So how do you guys continue doing what you guys are doing, which is great, right? Doing all the right stuff. But at the same time, I guess for lack of better words, not appear so boring and that you're going to be able to attract the viewership and the eyeballs that you guys want to bring to the community.
I think we go back to we have we're trying to expand and as you say we don't want to look boring. I speak to Jaden and Juan all the time in the group. Hey, we gotta change up how the account looks. We gotta make it look more appealing. We gotta make it more presentable. But at the same time, as having a respectable name, we want more people. And yes, as you said, sadly, that's what attracts people. That's what get views. And I'm not saying that that's not what we want, but not a good thing, not a bad thing, because I see people that do those certain things. They either it's a girl, it's a female. Let's say she got a Miata, but she's showing cleavage. She's gonna get more views than me just filming my car. But if I go out and I bet if I show my face in a video, if I'm more interactive with the people, I think I could get a bigger audience. I think if people can connect with me based on that they have a connection, that they have something that they like, and I like the same thing, that we're gonna connect. I think that's why we connected. I think that's why we connected as well. I don't think that necessarily we need a female in trying to get us views. I think is what we need is something to bring people a connection, because even if you're an attractive female, you're gonna bore. It's gonna get boring. At least for me, I'm not attracted to that. But if I keep seeing a female just show her tits instead of her car, I'm not gonna follow. It's kind of boring. I don't need to see that. I came for the car, not for the female. But I understand why people would come for the female. It's just the world we live in. But I think that if we could not make it just boring, we want to make it like car events become as a car shows, but we're slowly gonna get there. We're still in the beginning. Yeah,
we're still getting started. Even though it's been at least 2 years.
Yeah,
we're still getting started. We're still like in the very beginning.
Okay.
But we got more to go.
So what did you guys like? What's your current membership right now? Like, what did it start out with, and what is it current now in just these 2 years?
Oh, we started in 2021.
Okay.
It's 2023 right now. So
Yeah.
I believe it's around 2 years now.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's gonna be 2 years because we started in June, July.
So and how many members do you guys start out with versus how many now?
In 2021 we started like maybe four.
Because it was me, you, Juan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, and then later on, like probably like a month after, it was like at least 10.
Yeah.
10 people.
So it started off with mainly friends, because we surprisingly had a good chunk of friends that we already knew who were already into cars, but we slowly started discovering, oh, you're actually into cars. You're actually building a car. You want to be a part of this car group. And I think that's what connected. I met some of his friends. He hasn't met, I don't have friends. But so I think that's one thing that helped us connect.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, it's a tough thing because, like I said, you guys are doing the right things, but sometimes doing the right thing doesn't give you like the eyeballs, and it's sometimes, I hate to say it, but sometimes it's people that are doing the hoonigan stuff and the burnout stuff. That's what gets the viewership,
Oh, yeah.
And but like you said, it's kind of detrimental to the car committee. I mean,
I like that. I go to Formula Drift. I went to SEMA. They were doing burnouts. I'm all for it as long as it's not like if it's in a private parking lot, you're good. You're in a private property, you're good. But if you're doing that shit in a residential area, if you're doing it at an intersection, it's not safe. It puts people in danger, and it's not something that it's a good reflection to the car community. You're good doing that on private property. I'm all for it. I love the smell of burnt tire. I love the smell of leaking oil or something. It's always good, but just try to keep the good look on us.
Yeah, and I think thank you for clarifying, because that's definitely what I meant as well too. Is like, as long as you're doing it in the context of where you can do it, right? Go race on the track, right? Yeah. Although we've all raced on the streets before. I'm not gonna sit here and try to say I've never done it either, but yeah, I totally get that, right? Like, do it in a controlled, regulated environment. Okay, so I mean, like, what do you see next for LowCulture then? Where do you guys see yourself? What's the next thing you're gonna tackle and in the next coming months? Do you guys have events coming up in this coming up summer? You guys like to promote?
Yeah. We're planning to have a meet somewhere around the summer, um, but we haven't fully decided on yet or made it public. So if anyone want to, check out for more info somewhere around like later on in the spring or in the summer, just give us a follow. It's lowculture.nw on Instagram. So yeah, if anything, just check it out. Just give us a follow or anything, and if anything pops up, it'll be like on your story or on your feeds or anything. So
It will definitely be posted on your feed, and it will be pinned to our account. I guarantee you we'll have one in July. We have a collab with someone. We just don't have a date. That's why we're not sure. But we have a semi location and a month. So July, and it will be in Renton. Not gonna give any more information now because we want to be 100% correct with our information before just saying it. We also have, we plan another one, but we don't know when. Just depends of how the weather is. Maybe in May. But me, Jaden, and Juan, and a couple of friends will be going to Imports April 30th. So in case if you guys want to pull up in Pacific Raceways, we'll be there for sure.
That's the Import Race Off, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good show. We're trying to make it that show too, so hopefully we can try to make a show. But it's right around the corner right
It
now.
really is.
Yeah.
So. Okay, Liz, you got anything you want to add before I get into the next one?
I mean, I'm just impressed by you guys being so young and doing all this for the car community, and I feel like we're too old to join any of these car clubs. Our cars are, what's the term they use now? Our cars are basic traffic.
Yeah. Hey, I'm living through the young kids right now, but it's a good note. I think what they touched upon earlier is the key, right? And it's kind of hard sometimes to put that best foot forward for the car community, right? Because we're all involved in the car community, right? Whether as business owners, who are getting into a race team, you guys doing what you guys are doing, right? We're all part of this community, and that the connection is, like you guys were saying earlier, is the passion for cars. Whether you're into Euro, JDM, right, domestic, we all love cars.
Yep.
We all love the smell of burning tires, gas, freaking turbocharger noises, blow off, noises and that type of stuff. So I think that's where if people can remember that.
Yeah.
I think that's what we'd like to say out to everyone in the car community. Just if you can remember that we're all passionate about what we do in cars. There's no hate anywhere, but be respectful and be mindful of everything,
Yeah.
Right. So I know we talked about a little off camera, right? And so you're thinking about kind of like maybe getting LowCulture to another spot. Why don't you touch about that a little bit? Are you guys trying to get into like maybe clothing, maybe social media? What are you guys doing with that aspect?
Right now, next for sure is stickers. We'll have stickers soon. I want to do clothes. I haven't looked into it because I think we still need to grow for us to be able to sell clothes. Because to get clothes, you got to bulk buy. You don't want to have supply or you don't want to have inventory but no orders. Then it's a waste of money. But that's one plan and one goal that we will try to achieve once we are bigger. One thing I also mentioned before, what I would like to see with LowCulture is that we could host car shows. Car shows is a completely different compared to car meets. That's a huge difference. What people don't really get to, they don't know the difference. Car shows, you pay, but you get quality builds. You don't get half-ass builds. You don't get trash builds. You get professionalism from the staff, and then you have to pay to enter to see quality cars. And then car meets, anyone can pull up. But you have that, I think that there's a certain word, elegancy, not elegancy. I don't know. It's a certain word of royalty of going to a car show compared to going to a car meet. They're both fun, but I prefer to going to a car show because you actually see more inspiration. Because I think that's what a lot of people go to car meets for. But if you really want that good inspiration, go to car shows. You'll see phenomenal builds, and people put hard work, blood, sweat into those builds. And not many people really appreciate that until you're there and you see it in person.
Okay. Okay. So how are you guys going to take that step then? How are you going to get into where you guys can start doing car shows versus car meets?
We just need to grow.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, it's not like, you know, we're gonna grow like right now. You know, it takes a lot of time. You know,
Yeah.
we'll never know when we're gonna like grow, unless if we see it for ourselves. You know, but it will take time.
I think for us to get into car shows, start hosting car shows, we would need a good audience, because that way, whenever we host a car show, we need a certain location, um, or arena. I know that there's an arena in Everett that they had a car show there before, and it was actually really nice. Um, but for you to be able to go out and talk to a city, hey, can I do this? And then they look at you and they're like, well, what are these numbers? They're gonna be like, no. If you have the background to back us up, they're gonna be like, yes, and then we can host it. And then I think that's when we can start hosting car shows. But as Jaden said, it'll take time, and I think, well, for me, if we're gonna be hosting these car shows, I would like my car to be car show ready. Why have the leader host something that they can't even show themselves that they do, if that
No,
makes
100%.
sense.
Yeah.
Not saying that you need a good looking car to be able to be a leader to host these car shows, but that's my mindset. I want my car to be good enough so I can't look bad for our group and for what I'm hosting.
Okay.
That's my mindset.
So that was my next question. So you guys plan to kind of do this organically then, right? Where you guys kind of get your guys' build, your car club, your car group, those cars in those groups to that level of show quality, right? And then be able to host, to be able to kind of like organize that car show.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Everybody in the group, from what I see, is actually working on their cars. They're actually either working to gain that money to buy parts, because it's expensive.
Oh yeah.
We're either in school, we're working, or that's pretty much what we're doing. Everyone's either in school or we're working, but it doesn't mean that we're gonna have full-blown GTRs with Rocket Bunny kids and stuff.
Yeah.
But I see everybody working on their car, under their car, or taking something off, taking their headlights or tail lights, or painting it, and it's inspiring. From seeing them do it, they inspire me. I'm like, okay, if they're doing it, I gotta get off my ass and start working on my shit. I gotta build it, not so I could be better than them, but so we could be on the same level. I want everybody to be on the same level. I don't want someone to be down here while I'm up here. I'm gonna try to support them. It's not like I'm gonna send him $500 so he could build, but I'm gonna be right there. I'm like, yo, bro, have you gotten that build or order it? I'm trying to tell Juan to order his wheel conversion so he could throw on his wheels, but bro's lacking. But he's I know he's working.
Hey, put it on my blast on this podcast. All right, Benji. All right.
I've been trying to push him. I'm
Okay.
a pusher, and because I try to, if I had someone pushing me, I know I would have gone my car up to where I want it. It's not where I want it right now, but if everybody has that little push, I think that's all we need to get to where we want.
And that's what a good leader does. I mean, the good leader has to set the tone, has to set the pace. I mean,
Yeah.
that's in business and life and everything. Now, this is a very pragmatic question, because I think this might be very good information for other, young kids, car clubs out there that can get inspired from you guys to doing the same thing. But this is a common problem that we've all experienced, right? Even when I was young and I wanted to start a race team and start a car club, right? It's like that financial aspect. Right? Because life takes over, right? You guys are young. You still want to have fun. You still want to go out there and meet people and, enjoy a good time. You don't want to be just stuck in your garage all day long or stuck at work, paying money on car parts and that type of stuff. So what are you guys are doing? Like, what is your guys' plan of attack to try to take that? Because this is where a lot of people fail. I'll be honest with you guys. A lot of people have this passion, right? A lot of people want to love and make this their life. But after a while, it's like, I got to pay the bills. I got to freaking, do other things with my life. I got to focus on my career. So how do you guys see yourself?
I think, honestly, the main issue with why people have issue with the financial situation is they get peer pressured. Peer pressure is one of the main issues that we have in the car community. You see someone with a nicer car. Damn, why is my car not that nice? Oh, I got to start building it. And then we look at people talking shit on reps. people talking shit on real wheels. That's also a big issue because not everybody can afford the high end, expensive, good looking wheels. But I see why people buy the lower end cars or the rep wheels. But my recommendation is hold off, save your money. What I did, I could have built my Saab, but I'm like, I'm not gonna gain value. It's just gonna lose value. I'm just gonna waste my money. There's gonna come some old person's gonna come and hit me, and all of that's lost. So I waited. I was like, I want something that I want that I'm gonna be satisfied with for the next 5-10 years, and I waited. The S2K came along, and I'm like, that's it. I'm keeping that shit. I'm trying to build it for my kid, for a son or daughter. That's my goal. But if you set your mind to, oh, I'm gonna build my car, and let's say you have a Kia Forte, why are you building a Kia Forte? Why are you dumping your money in that when you could be saving that money? You could be, oh, I want an S13. You could save your money instead of dumping in that when you feel that pressure. Oh, everybody's building their car. I got to build mine. No, you're good. There's no time limit. You got your whole life. As you said, there's older people, there's younger people. There's no time limit. There's just that pressure of wanting it to get it done before that car meet. I felt that pressure before. It's wanting to be ready before you go out. And I think I go back to that. It's peer pressure. You want your car to be done because everybody else is done. But if you take your time and get it right, just like everything else in life, you'll be happier that you took your time, because you're going to regret it later on. You're going to be like, no way I spent $2,000 on a carbon trunk for my Volkswagen Beetle, or I don't know, like that's what I go back to. Make sure you make smart decisions before spending your money, especially with an expensive hobby like us.
Yeah. What do you think, Jaden? What are some tips you can give out there to young people trying to do this but not failing, for lack of better words?
Let's see. I gotta think this straight. So personally, for me, it's like really hard to, save up for a lot of things like parts and stuff, because I like spending money, and it gets even harder. Like, if anyone would ever fail, I would slowly feel that same way. It's not like, it's not just me, because again, parts are really expensive. And, let's say like every time I get paid, I like to spend money too. And while I'm spending money, which is not parts on car, like car parts, I get like a thought in mind on the other side of my head, like, bro, I have like an expensive hobby, like what am I gonna do? And the thing is, it's just, it's the most recent tip, like the most tip that will be hard if you like to spend a lot of money is like always save, like maybe give yourself like probably like a couple of months for you to like save up a lot.
Yeah.
And then I don't know how to explain it, but
no, I fully understand.
Just save. It takes a lot of time, and I know like like for me, when I see something like Hot Wheels or something like or food or something, like I like to spend money, but it's really hard for me because I like to.
I think besides our hobby, everybody has a life. We still have priorities. We still have bills to pay. We still have family to take care of. We still got to feed ourselves. And what a lot of people do is they don't put that in the picture when you're building your car. I save my money to buy my Rega Masters. I was looking into buying rep wheels, and I was like, no, I'm going to sell these on later on, or I'm going to want to get rid of them. I'm going to make sure that I want the wheel that I want, because I want that shit to stay on there for a good years for sure. So that's how I see it. You don't want to get something and then later on regret of getting it because you wanted what you wanted in the first place because you were too impatient.
Yeah. Yeah. Would you guys say like having like a community around you, right? Like obviously your family, your brothers, sisters around you, being part of a car club, did that help you guys to stay focused, stay grounded, keep the goal in mind?
50-50 for me.
I would say the same.
My dad, since he's a mechanic, does not mean he's fully supportive of what I do, because he's a mechanic of um fixing things. Because my brother's, he's also in the he's in the car community, but he sticks to himself. He doesn't go out like that. But he has a saw vegan. But he spent a good chunk. I don't know how much, but he spent more than me. And my parents always used to yell at me. They're like, "Oh, you're exactly like your brother. You're wasting money on a stupid ass car." And I'm like, my dad says, because my dad says that. And then, but I'm like, why are you saying that if you're over here bringing cars into our life? Like, you're bringing that without, and then you're telling me this. It just doesn't make sense. But I mentioned before, it runs in the family. My dad he's got a heavy foot. My mom has a heavy foot. We all love speed. But their parents, they're gonna be concerned about what I spend my money on. Well, I told my parents, I'm like, oh, I really want to buy. I told them about the wheels. I told them I spent $1,000 on the wheels, and they were not $1,000. And they were like, they're not support. It's not. I can't say they're not supportive. They're just reasonable parents. They care of what I spend my money on. They're like, don't spend all your money on this car part. And they're like, just save. And I'm like, what the hell am I gonna save up for? And I get mad. And I think many kids can say the same shit. They're like, what am I saving up for? But you don't realize that we're still young. We still have shit that we have to deal with in the future that we don't know already. And if you have a chunk of money that you could fall back to, you're fine. But if you spend all your money and then you don't have anything in your account, what are you gonna do then? It's not like you're gonna eat your carbon fiber like hood. You gotta be smart about what you do if you're entering in this hobby.
Yeah. You anything you want to add to that? Pretty much.
Be smart with your money, guys. If you guys want to, enter into this really expensive hobby,
take your time.
Take your time. Of course, take your time.
Was your parents like, kind of same thing with Benji? Kind of like they were like, hey, you shouldn't be getting into this hobby, or were they supportive? Of you?
My dad, he'd be like, man, this is like fucking dumb and shit. It's like, for me, I don't really listen to him, because in like from my mindset, it's like, it's not like, I don't care what they think, it's basically saying, F your opinions, because whatever that I like, whatever that I like, I don't want to doesn't mean that I listen to people's opinions, like their negative opinions, because for my dad, he kind of doesn't have a good like the same opinion as I do, but it's not gonna stop me for what I like to do, like being in a car group and stuff, but for my mom and my stepdad, they understand what I like to do in life, and for me having a car group, they know that I'm in a car group, and it's just for me being a young age, 17, they just tell me just the number one thing that's really important is just be safe, don't do anything dumb, like takeovers or something, because they really hate that too, just they have the same thoughts as what me and Benji and any others that think the same way as we do about takeovers, and that's just.
Yeah, but for young guys, I mean, you guys have a pretty adult-oriented mindset, right? Okay, so I got some tough questions now, if you guys are ready for it, because we talked about this. We talked about this a little bit before we started, right? Because we wanted to, our channel, you guys know out there, it's about relationships, but it's also about Asian cultures and things in our Asian culture. So, Jaden, you guys don't have to answer if you guys don't feel comfortable. Just tell me to my face. We're all friends here, and you guys can say whatever you want to say, right? So, Jaden, you mentioned that your mom and dad are no longer together. You're separated. You got a stepdad.
Yeah.
Okay, so how long was that?
I would say, I don't even know, honestly. All I know is when I was really young. I would say.
Okay,
when
so
I was
it
a
has
baby.
been a while now.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So has your actual father, your biological father, has he been a part of your life?
Oh yeah, of course. It's just throughout my whole life, I'm always with my mom. I live with my mom, and then it's it would always be, every other Friday when I would always hang out with my dad, you know. And but though, like, since I drive now, you know, there's times where me and my dad, we would plan to hang out stuff just so we could spend time since we don't live with each other. Um, but yeah.
Was he supportive in a lot of the things you did, or would you say that he was more? And what ethnicity is your father?
Oh, he's Laos.
He's Laos.
Yes.
So your mom's Cambodian and your father's Laos. So did your father, was he very supportive kind of all the stuff that you were getting into, or was he more of the traditional Asian father?
I would say a
that's kinda
half and half, you know. I would say more of the traditional. He wanted me to get in college, and, you know, I had that mindset. But the more years of me thinking about it, it's me asking, you know, do you want to do it for yourself or do you want to do it for them? And, you know, for me, I want to do it for I want to do some stuff for myself because, you know, I want to do the things that I like, you know. But
And when did you have that kind of that epiphany or that mindset change? At what age?
I think starting high school, you know, because well, once we started high school, or once I started high school, you know, there's like family members, like, you know, my mom, my stepdad and stuff. They're like, you know, like, what do you plan to do for college? And I just be like, you know, I don't know, like back then I used to be all about, like, you know, technology, like IT and stuff, and I wanted to be in college for that. And then once I started to like try that out for myself, I started, you know, losing that type of trust, like not trust but interest. And I was just like, I don't know if this is, you know, right for me. Yeah, like I don't know if this is my passion, you know. Until I got myself into like photography, cars and all stuff. And, you know, to this day I'm still into it and thinking about it right now, like, you know, if I want to be, you know, working as like media or anything, like mainly I want to like be working at a job as like for media, you know. And nowadays, you know, some, like most companies doesn't even need, like, you know, your degree and stuff, and they just need, you know, your experience. And for me thinking about it more, I'm just like, you know, is it really worth it for that, you know? So I didn't want to do it anymore. So
Understood.
And for my dad, you know, I didn't really tell him, but I just know that for sure, you know, he's gonna say something about it in a negative way, because no one in my family never, you know, had a college degree or anything, and they wanted me to be a first gen. And, you know, I had a huge mindset of it before, and just thinking about it right now, and since it's my last year in high school, you know, I'm just having second thoughts. But if I would be a part of something, I would say being like in UTI, if you guys know what that is. Yeah, I would probably like do something like that, you know.
Yeah.
But if anything, I don't know if it'll be worth it for me. But if anything, I could still like look back into it and be a part, like doing college stuff. But as of right now, nah. So
Okay. How about your mom and your stepdad? Do they support you, what you're doing?
yeah.
Okay.
For them, yeah, they understand. And for me, having that type of mindset about college, I mainly talked about it with my mom, and she understood everything. You know, she has a friend, like basically a coworker, that I don't know which degree that she got, but she worked like her whole blood and sweat into like getting that degree in college, just for her to get into a job that she doesn't even need a degree in it. And then later on, she's just like, you know, what the hell, like, is it really worth it?
What did she get? Like something like a humanities, like, you know?
I don't even know, honestly, but she was telling me about it. I forgot what she told me, like what was it for?
Gender studies degree, like psychology degree. We joke about it all the time in towns because they're like useless degrees, you know? So,
Arts degree.
yeah.
Yeah.
Some type of arts degree, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm gonna keep touching on this, and I'll get to you. Okay, I'll get to you too, because I think this happens across all ethnicities. I don't think it's just strictly an Asian thing, but it's definitely from like a traditional ethnicity standpoint, right? And I think a lot of our viewers that might not come from our backgrounds might not understand it. So I think it's good information for people out there, right? So, you know, your dad, you know, obviously being separated, and obviously, you know, kind of in a way, very traditional dad. I always kind of like told you kind of, hey, I want you to do this type of thing, right? Did you kind of push back towards that a little bit, knowing that?
What do you mean? Like,
Well, I mean, because obviously, you know, Asians, right, as growing up, our parents, especially the father figure, is a very, let's just say, commandeering father figure, right?
Mhm.
And they're always kind of like, hey, you got to do this, right?
Yeah.
Was that kind of hard on you kind of growing up too? Like, hey, I want you to do this. I don't want you to do the car things. I don't want you to do what you're
Yeah,
passionate
like it.
about.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know. Like, it's not really that because I'm not 100% like in like he's not 100% in my life like that. But if I were to like fully live with him, I think he would do something like that. But yeah.
And did he respect you more when you said, hey, like I'm doing what I love, I'm doing what I'm passionate about?
Mm-hmm.
Did he respect you more after that?
I mean, he does respect me. It's just at the same time he doesn't like it because it's not like what he does.
Understood.
So yeah.
No, I think that's a good letter. I'm gonna before I get my thoughts, and I'll ask you the same thing because like your father, right? Mechanic, likes to fix cars, but doesn't exactly like what you're doing with the car scene, right? So did he give you kind of like, hey, no, you got to be doing this, Benji. This is what I want you to do growing up,
Okay, so let me go a little back because you said that we kind of since I'm not Asian, I'm Bolivian. That's my parents are Bolivian, but I was born here. That still makes me Bolivian, though it doesn't change the fact.
You grew up in a very traditional household. I'm still taking it.
Yeah, so until the age 15, maybe 16, my parents were pretty strict. 14 is when they started to calm down, though. My parents were, I could say, generally any Hispanic parents. I could say like any immigrant, any person who's, I don't like, not trying to separate the white people, but if you're white, you've lived this certain lifestyle.
Let's say
in
Western,
America. Yeah.
Western, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, you can get some Europeans that literally just moved over, but Americanized Western.
I think we are all very, very similar in our cultures. We just have those differences that clearly are shown, which is like our food, our music, our dances.
Yeah.
But the way our parents act, from what I've seen, they're really similar. They want you to work hard because we all come from poor countries. I've gone to Bolivia and I've seen where my parents have come from, and it really, really, really humbles you when you come back here and you really appreciate what you have. And I think that's why they push us and they want you to strive. Hey, go to school so you could do this. But as Jaden said, school right now is not. It's a iffy thing. Unless you're studying to be a doctor, you're studying to be a nurse. It's not worth it unless you're studying to be something that's actually going to pay off, because you're going to have to pay off the student debt and the student loans and shit like that. But
where did you find that? Where did you learn that stat from, or where did you pick up that information from? Just out of curiosity.
Which one?
The fact that if you're not into like engineering, doctor, nurse, in essence, STEM fields, right? Science, technology, engineering, and math.
So
who told you that? Who taught you that?
A little bit from my mother and from my brother and sister.
Okay.
Because I see that my mom has made a living off her own business. She started cleaning hotels. I want to say that she started off at $7 when they arrived. They arrived here at 2000, and so she started off at $7. So you already know how it is. So she kind of was my role model. My dad, he didn't start off in cars. He studied it in Bolivia with cars, but he didn't start off. He was working at a wood shop, but he quit that job and started to create his own business, which is to work on cars. But I've always focused on my mom a little bit more because she seems my dad struggles with English, so she kind of knows how to work her way around with the place we live in with English, because since my dad doesn't speak English, she has to pay the bills, or she has to speak to the tax papers,
Yeah.
So I've always seen my mom as a role model, and she's always told me, hey, go to school, and I'm like, I don't want to go to school, because ever since a young age I've seen people who don't get who get these degrees. And this is my main point that I always tell my mom: you could get that degree, you could go study, but you're not guaranteed that job. you're not guaranteed that there's a position open for what you studied for. You could study to be a doctor, but if the hospital's packed, they're not gonna hire you. Even if you have your degree, even if you studied those 8 years, you're not guaranteed a position. And for you to take that high risk of wasting those years in your life, that money, that the time that you cannot get back, it's not worth it when you're not guaranteed a spot at that hospital or job. Like you said, I pointed out the high end jobs, and Liz said as well, the degrees that don't make sense, that are useless. I agree, those are definitely useless. There's no point for you to go to school for like psychology or stuff like that.
Okay. Who told you that though? Who brought that information to you? I'm very curious. At a young age, you kind of know this already. That's why.
I grew up really, I matured really early on, so I kind of saw it for myself.
Did you do like this research, like you were searching online, or talk to people within the industry?
I mainly talk to people, because I think if you speak to one-on-one with someone, you'll get more of a down-to-earth answer, and a more of a straight to the point. So with that, I was like, okay, if I'm going to school, I better study for something big. It's gonna be a waste of time, because we live in America. I could get an LLC. I could make a business really easily, especially now. So all I need is just what business I want, what I want to do, and I could work for myself, and I could have my own employees. But I don't want to work for somebody. That was my main reason why I looked into it. I don't want to be working for someone who's an asshole, because that's just gonna kill my work. That's just not gonna make me want to go to work every day. If you love your job, you don't care what you do. You're gonna want to go every day. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's some really good lesson to our viewers, and especially our men viewers, guys. You guys know I'm always talking to the guys out there, and especially our Asian brothers, right? Because the thing about, like, a lot of people shame blue collar work, right? Like your mom, what your dad does, what we do, right? Fix cars. I was a technician for how many years, right? 16 years. I just wear a suit now, guys. I just play the part now. But no, a lot of blue collar workers make a buttload of money out there, you know, and entrepreneurs like myself. I own my own business, right? A lot of them make a lot of money, but, you know, people want these high glamorous jobs, right? And what they don't know is what Benji was alluding to. It's like, unless you get into the STEM fields, guys, you know, you get some useless degree, you're in a huge college debt, you have a lot of college debt, right? And then when you get out, you don't even get to use those degrees, right? And now you're pretty much stuck in a system. You're pretty much paying for all these loans, paying for all these debts. You're not making that much money anymore. And so you're pretty much stuck forever paying these freaking loans off, you know? I want to touch on something, what your guys' thoughts about it too, is because, you know, and this is a good maybe stat for you that you maybe didn't know, but the fact that you're not choosing to go to school might reinforce why you don't. But, you know, men are like 20% of college attendees now, or 30% of college attendees is men now. It's overwhelmingly 60 to 70% of college attendees is women. Right. And the reason for that, guys, I hate to say it, you know, and Liz, if you want to talk about that, you're the female on this panel right now, but, you know, they're getting useless degrees. They're accumulating all the college debt. Women hold like freaking 80% of our debt, you know, more than 60, 70% of our debt. Right. And a lot of it is college student loan debt. Right. They're 80% of our consumer base. You kind of touched about it, how your mom is like, you know, the one that handles the finances and you know, and all the bills in the household, right? And so it's speaking to an overall world problem. It's like men are kind of walking away from the college scene, right? And doing what you're doing, which is super smart, right? Getting into your own business, stuff like that, right? So what are your guys' thoughts on that? And Liz, why don't you touch on that, being the only female on the panel here?
That's kind of interesting, because, I mean, maybe it's because when I went to school, it was kind of different. I went into degrees that were very male dominant. Like I went into comp sci. There were only 3 females in my whole program.
So you're the exception to the rule, though. You went into a degree that was actually going to lead to like a successful career, though.
And then when I went into accounting, there was, I think, only like 5 or 6 females back then. But granted, I graduated like 12 years ago.
We won't go there. Okay.
So that statistic is kind of interesting to me, because like I said, when I went to school, all the degrees I went into, there were mainly men. Um, and even then, being in that industry now, they're all still primarily men.
Correct. Yeah.
So it's odd hearing that it's primarily women in school now.
Well, no. So let me clarify. There's primarily women in school, but they're still not going to the fields that she's going to. So even 12 years ago, this is actually some good insight. So even 12 years ago, it was a very lack of female participation in those fields, and it still is. You know, even with affirmative action, even with like, it's just the truth, guys. You know, like we touch on a lot of uncomfortable topics on this channel and this podcast. Like even with affirmative action, even if like, say you're a minority of color and you're a female and you apply for these jobs, they're going to give you that job. Right? If you're a construction worker and you're female and you want to get into the construction industry, they're going to give you that chance, whether you're qualified or not, right? So the point is that women are still not choosing to go into those fields, right?
Which is, I think, really interesting given that how everything is changing now, especially with like modern women wanting to be boss babes, entrepreneurs and all that. And yet they're still going into these
it's more human interaction, right? It's teachers, it's nursing, it's it's where you're interacting with people more, and that's just kind of a biological kind of like trait. Women like to interact with people. I mean, that's what they're good at, right? Your mom is very social. She knows how to interact with people and talk to people, right? That's why. What are your guys' thoughts? Now that I've told you that stats, does that make you guys feel better about your decision, or how does that change your guys' overall decision?
For me, it doesn't affect it because I'm one of those people that if it doesn't affect me physically, I don't really care. If I see so my sister is also one of my main role models, and she's a barista, and she's gone straight A's. She could have gone to school, but due to papers she couldn't. She had those straight A's, and she's really smart, but she chose to work as a barista because she makes more money than from what she would have made going to school. And I think that especially with today's age of with what there is out on the internet and how easy it is to gain money off the internet, especially with OnlyFans, I think a lot of women tend to go that route. But I don't really think that's smart, because what are you gonna do once that money runs out? Because you're not gonna be pretty forever. You're not gonna be attractive forever. You're gonna lose that maybe in 5 years, 10 years. But if you go to school, maybe you're guaranteed a job that can sustain you. But if you choose a route that you see quick, fast, easy money, it's not gonna be sustainable money. If you choose a slow route, I think it's gonna be beneficial in the future for you. But for men deciding not to go to school, I understand that, because I think that they're like, I could go and use the example of my dad. He didn't want to go to school because he felt that he was better than that. My brother as well. He got really good grades. He wanted to be a brain surgeon, but he said he didn't want to fuck up his hands or something like that. But I think men feel like they're too good to do that job, and so they don't tend to even try to go to school anymore, because they see other people striving better. And I think we get influenced by that, and we want to be that, and we're like, oh, I don't want to be washing dishes and shit, or something like that.
Gotcha. How old is your sister, by the way?
She's 20. What am I? 18. It's 26.
Okay, so is she the oldest in the family?
Yeah, we go by 4 years.
Okay, so 20. I'm 26, 22, and then okay. You're spouting a lot of red pill content, Benji. I mean, that's a lot of RP stuff right there. Where like I said, I'm very curious on where you got this information. Did your dad teach you this? Your brother, your mom, your sister? I'm very curious on where you kind of got this
all
mindset.
By myself.
What's that?
All by myself. But I will say my mother has been a big influence in touching my feminine side, and my sister, because they raised me. My mom went to work and my dad went to work. So my sister was my mom for like the first 8 years of my life. So she pretty much was my caretaker, and my mom pretty much came into my life a little bit like after I was 10, mainly because they were focused into working hard, and so my sister had no choice but to take care of me and my brother. But I was mainly I'm super close to my sister. Um, I I have taken the opportunity, since she is a female, I will accept all the feminism that she throws at me, but I would throw my masculinity back at her. So I understand her mindset, and with that mindset, I understand how a girl thinks. So I totally know like why a girl might be mad at me, but I'm not gonna expose that, because then I lose all my perks, so that they don't know that I know. That my sister pretty much has given me her feminine side, so I totally understand why a female does it, or why girls do what girls do. And she totally understands why guys do what guys do. She understands why guys go out their way to spend money on a female or something like that. But her and my mom have thrown all their feminine at me, and I've kind of like absorbed that, and I tend to understand both sides. I don't like to choose a side, but I understand both sides, but I tend to lean more to masculinity, because my sister tells me, and she's like, dude, this is so stupid why girls do this. And I'm like, now you understand why guys say this about girls. But that's where I understand my point of view.
When you say your mom and your sister threw like these feminine ideas, are you talking about like feminism, like feminist ideas, like where women and men can be equal, kind of like women's body counts don't matter? That's type of ideally
more of respect women. My mom was more of respect women. She's always like, everyone's the same, everyone's equal, no one's different. My sister was more how can I say, she's a model, and her photos are a bit explicit, so since she's in that industry, she tells me what happens in that industry and why girls do certain things. And because I help her out with like she's like, yo, what do I use for this, what should I do? Because I'm creative, she asked me for ideas like, what should I post? I don't know what to do anymore. So I'm like, go out, do something. But that we help each other, and I understand how she thinks from that industry. It's kind of been beneficial for me, because that way it helps me understand the way women think, not all of them, but sort of her industry and how they think. And my mom telling me to respect women, because most men are totally like, no, you gotta get a hard job, you gotta work out, you gotta just do what men do. I'm not leaning, okay, so if we talk about the feminine, I'm not talking about the body counts that you said, or the I don't know what else you said, but
well, like a lot of feminist ideas is pretty much that men and women can be equal, right? So that means like, the values that a woman brings to the table are the same as what a man brings to the table, right? Finance, status, right? I bring money to the table, right? I have my own job, I have my own career, right? That's kind of what this modern female feminism ideology has indoctrinated women to think. And men, we don't give a fuck about that shit. I mean, let's be honest, right? You can tell me you work at McDonald's, or you can tell me you work at freaking Microsoft, and I can really care less as a female what you do, right?
As long as it's a job. I think how I view people, everyone's the same. I don't care if you got balls or you got boobs. If you go get a job at McDonald's and you're a female, everyone's gonna be like, oh my god, good job, girl.
No, but what I mean is from like a relationship dating context, right? Like men, right? We don't find women that have like these big careers more attractive than women that have just, jobs, right? Like I said, she could be like your sister working at Starbucks, right? And as a guy, I don't find her less attractive because she works at Starbucks versus, working a freaking, mechanical engineering job at Boeing, right? Let's be honest, mostly we base female attraction on their looks, right? We base their female attraction on if they're feminine, if they're very, kind, nurturing, caring, like those feminine traits, right? We don't want some like girl that acts like a dude. I'll be honest with you. I know me personally. I'll let you guys touch on that, right? Obviously, right? And then, of course, the honest truth is that we don't freaking find promiscuous women attractive, right? Women that sleep around and are 304s, for lack of better words. And you guys know what 304s are, right? You guys know what that term means. So that's kind of what I'm getting at, is in terms of that's kind of the ideology. And it doesn't look like your sister and your mom doing that. They obviously have kind of a Western viewpoint, but they also have been kind of warning you about some of that mindset as well, too.
For me, so when I tend to go out and look for a partner, I look into a female. I tend to look more of my future with them instead of with the beginning, because if I want lust, then I could go download Tinder and I could go swipe. But for me, I think that's a waste of time. I'm not someone who wants to rack up my bodies, and I'm not someone who wants to go out and mess with a lot of girls. Me personally, my sister kind of helped me out with that, because she's like, girls are nasty, don't do this, and she's like, just be smart what you do. And my mom told me the same thing, so I've always kept that mindset. I'm like, why? I don't want to waste my time. I value myself. If a girl can get with me, then that's good for her. It's not like if I'm trying to chase that girl. If she could get me, then that's better for her, because I know what I'm worth. I'm not trying to sound self-conceited. I think it's after you've been through a couple situations with a couple individuals, you tend to start seeing what you actually want. We've all been through bad relationships. We've all have had good ups and downs in those relationships, but that doesn't mean that if I've had a bad relationship, I'm gonna go fuck each and every girl that comes in my path. For me, if you trying to get down, then you gotta bring something. I like confident women, and like I said, I look into the future. If you got a good job, then that's good. That's what my sister and my mom kind of taught me. I don't want to be taking care of someone. I want some equal. If I come home and I've had a hard day, I want a sandwich, but I don't want to come home to you watching YouTube. That's what I want. But I think what a lot of guys want is that they want to come home and they just want to fuck. Or if that's not satisfying them, then they go out, they have a wife at home, but they go and find something else because they're not satisfied enough. But I think the issue, what I see, is a lot of people tend to generalize men and women. They look at men as sluts who just want to go and fuck, and then they look at women as an object who is something that can fuck. But you could say the same thing for men and women, just opposite. Women can go out and catch all the bodies that they want easily, but men can't. Men have to work towards that. But women can just go out, they could post something and they'll immediately get attention, but a guy doesn't. He has to work hard for that. So I go back to what does she bring to the table? If she's just bringing pussy, I could get that wherever. I want something that can benefit me, and I want to give her something that can benefit her. That's how I look at it.
Okay. You touched on a lot of things, and I don't want to because I want to give Jaden a freaking chance to talk about it too. So what's your thoughts on this whole subject that we've been talking about, Jaden? What do you want to add to this? And have you seen it yourself, just being out there, as a young single guy too? Or did you know some of these things? Maybe some of these stats that I'm tossing out right now. Some are like the terms of how the females are, in terms of the career market and that type of stuff. Did you know some of these things before coming on to this podcast?
A tiny bit, just a tiny bit of it, yeah. But,
so what is your thoughts on it, and how do you navigate that then, knowing some of this information out there?
I honestly don't know how to explain it, but yeah. But I'll skip on it for now.
Okay.
So we don't have to waste time or anything.
No worries, because man, like I said, I'm very interested, Benji, on how you kind of this is a lot of knowledge that guys your age, right, and both of you guys have very level-headed shoulders, on your heads, right? So most of these guys out here are simps, unfortunately, man. It really is. Like, you talked about how kind of like men have a generalization of just wanting to have sex all the time. That's 100% true. There's a reason why there's 25,000 subscribers on her freaking watching video, playing video games, right? It's the truth, right? Like, we talk a lot about truths on this channel and in this community, and it's just the truth, right? So like I said, I'm very curious on where you got this information in, and I think it could help a lot of young guys out there, because the sooner you know this information, the better. And it's not to hate women. It's not to say like, hey, women are not good people, or these things that they want are bad things, right? But it's to help men out there navigate it correctly and not ruin their lives too.
I think, to sum it up easily, is to just value yourself. Men and women need to start.
Where did you get that value? How did you know your value was higher? Because the truth is, there's a generalization, but the truth is most men undervalue their value and most women overvalue their value. Because like you were saying, right, a woman could post something on social media and she would get thousands and thousands of likes. Imagine us as guys, right? If we just go out there, we just walk down the street and you're just getting, bombardment with female attention. After a while, you're going to be like, oh man, I'm the shit.
Yeah.
Right? So
as a young age, I could say that I've never really had a problem with females. I know how to talk to a female. I know how to get with them. Like,
So when a woman tells you she's hungry but won't tell you what she wants to eat, you know what to do.
So sometimes, cause I'm like, what do you want to go eat? And they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, okay, so can we go get some Chick-fil-A? No, I don't want that. So then I'm just like, oh, okay, so I'm gonna just drive somewhere. So I just end up just going somewhere. So going back to that, I value myself. I think that after you've been through enough relationships, it doesn't need to be a high number. You go through relationships.
How many have you been to, if you don't mind?
Less than 10 for sure. I think I've been through 6.
Around 6. And were they all kind of long term, over a year, very short term, or how was it?
2 have been long term. The rest were pretty short. My first long relationship was a year and 6 months, and then my recent one was 2 years and a few months. I think it was 2 years for sure though. What are we in? 4? Yeah, 2 years and 2 months, I think.
2 years and 2 months.
Yeah.
So your current one is your longest one?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so 2 years and 4 months approximately is the longest one. So once again, I mean, like, what did you learn from, your previous relationships that said, no, my value is high. This is what I want. So how I see, don't get in a relationship if it's going to be short. If you get in a relationship, because it's a relationship, you want it to be long. If you just want to go around and mess with other people, then just be single. You're just going to waste that other person's time who's actually putting in effort. But if you get in that relationship and then you're not happy anymore, you're just wasting your time. You're wasting the other person's time while they could go find someone, or you could go find someone. Both of you guys are wasting each other's time. I see as if when I enter in a relationship, I try to do my best to keep her happy and to maintain that happiness, because as we all agree, after a certain period amount of time, you start to lose the love that you had in the beginning, because you're so happy of knowing more and more of that person. You strive to know so much, but after 6 to 8 months, you're like, it's just a regular person. Even though that you're in a relationship with them, you're not showing the same affection that you showed them in the beginning of the relationship. You could have sent them a good morning text with hearts in the beginning. Now you just sent them morning. So I think that if you enter in a relationship, make sure that you're doing the right thing, because you're not going to be happy later on. You only live once. Why would you waste your time of being in a discomfort situation for a certain amount of period of time? What's the age group of the girls or ladies that you were dating?
I've always stayed between my age, a year younger or a year older, but I think I've never had younger. I think they've all been older by a year or two.
Okay. And
A year.
and so your mindset, man, for a young kid, your mindset is saying something serious, like potentially like long-term commitment is what you're thinking?
That was the plan that I had, but I realized I'm a little too young to have something for really long. So because I don't want to waste the other person's time. I tend to put myself in other people's shoes before I put myself in my own shoes. So I always think, are they gonna be happy with me for this amount of time? And then I look at what happened in the beginning, and I look at where we're at now, and I'm like, well, what's changed? And then
So who's ending the relationships, you or the girl?
I have ended, I think, 2 or 3.
Okay. So about half. About
Yeah,
half of them you've ended and half of them the girls ended.
Yes.
Okay. And why is it ending? Is it because it's getting serious and you're still kind of in the phase that like, you know, hey, I'm still a young kid. I'm still trying to learn myself. I'm not at that point yet where
It's always, I think, a situation that happened. In 2 of them, I was either used or played. So I think that was mainly my slap in the face of, okay, if I want to get in a relationship, I don't want this to happen again. So I'm just going to take my time. And if I'm actually going to be in that relationship, I want it to be for a certain amount of time, because I think the shortest one I had was a month. And
Well, what do you mean by user played? Like, what do they do?
I prefer not to get into
Okay,
that.
fair enough.
And
But did you break up with them in those situations, or did they break up with you in those situations?
I think it was half.
Okay,
To be
so-
honest with you,
okay.
I don't fully remember. Honestly, I don't look back at the past. I look forward, because looking back at the past is just things that you either regret or you're disappointed of what you did. The only memories that you should really maintain for yourself are good memories, because honestly, what benefit is it gonna bring you if you're sad all the time? Nothing.
But you learned from them, though, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you look to the past enough that you say, hey, this is what I learned from, because obviously, like I said, you got a strong head on your shoulders, and obviously you said that, you know what your value is. So, for lack of better words, these traumas made you increase your experience level, right?
I honestly, I looked at myself in the mirror for a good few years when I was younger, and I was like, okay, well, I need to first love myself and understand where I'm at as an attractive, where I'm at in what I can provide, where I'm at in an overall status of myself. And I'm like, okay, if I see a 10, I'm not gonna go for that 10. I'm For me, if I could rate myself on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give myself a 7.5, because 5 is average. People got to realize 5 is average. So I know that if I take you out to eat, you're gonna eat. I'm gonna pay. If you want to buy shoes, I'll probably buy shoes, but I'm not someone who's gonna be spending all that money on you, because I like that if they could take care of themselves, then I know that they could take care of me. So I'm not someone who's fully blown to, oh, you want that purse? I'm gonna buy you that purse. But then what are they giving me? So that's where I go back to, I value myself. I'm not gonna give this female everything, but what is she giving me? Nothing. We go back to the love and lust. If you just want to fuck, stay single. But if you were in a relationship and you need something, you need to provide. In a relationship, you either need money, or you need land, or you need something that the other partner sees in you, and they're like, okay, well, I'm not wasting my life with this person, or I'm not wasting my time. So I think that's what
When you mean that, when you say that, you're supposed to provide some type of resources, provision, right? Status or that type of stuff. Are you saying you're providing that, or that she's going to need to bring that to the table too?
Both. I didn't grow up in a traditional household, but I kind of did, because I grew up in it, but I didn't take all those ideas that all of our ancestors have thought that we should do. I know that you guys and Jaden as well as immigrant families, that we want someone either who's in our race or somebody who's a part of our culture. Some, like I could say my mom wants me with a Bolivian girl, but like she doesn't. She says go for whoever you want, but we all have that certain parent or had that time that they're like, no, you better go for this girl or for this race because you're that race. And honestly, that's I never took those type of opinions. I wanted to think for myself. Ever since I was little, I was like, okay, my parents tell me this, I'm not fully gonna trust them 100%. I'm gonna do it myself and see how it is, because I don't like taking someone else's opinion because that's their experience. So everyone will always have a certain different experience and opinion on a certain topic or situation that we've all encountered.
That's true. I mean, that's true in a sense, but what you're doing right now is actually very good in terms of what the male strategy is. And I think that's kind of why you've had some success and why, that you're doing pretty well in the dating market, And like I said, maybe you came to about this organically and kind of through your own experiences and taking people's information and just kind of self-reflecting, which is awesome. But I think, a lot of guys out there could use your wisdom, for lack of better words, at such a young age, right?
I think first of all is just to work on yourself before you focus on anybody else. That's key. That's the first priority that you should do. First, love yourself before anybody else. Okay. Because without you got nothing else.
Okay. And how are you doing that? What are you doing to work on yourself and get yourself better?
For the past 2 years, I just been working my ass off. I don't have friends. I have friends, but they're all down south. So I live like in Marysville, so I don't know anybody up there. I got to go like 40 miles to see someone. So I can't just call up somebody and be like, yo, I got a vent or something. So I had to pretty much be my own therapist. I talk in my head, and then I got to look at my pros and my own cons, and I got to be like, okay, I got to improve in this. I see myself gaining weight. Okay, I got to stop eating. I see myself not making money. I got to start working more. So that's what focused me to working more and more and more, because I love money and my hobby, but I don't do it to impress anybody else but myself. So seeing myself work hard makes me feel good, because I'm like, I see this other guy at his house with all these females on his phone, and he's like, he ain't doing shit. He has no money, he has no car, and I'm over here working my ass off, and I got everything I want, but I don't have females in my DMs. But I don't really care, because I'm happy for what I'm doing for myself. I don't like to try to persuade this vision of me trying to impress mainly females, because I don't get anything out of it. Honestly, my hobby is impressing men. My hobby just brings men. That's all I try.
That's all good. I know what you're saying.
Yeah. That's sadly the hobby that I'm in. I'm also in photography, just like Jaden. We have good stuff in common, but our hobbies don't attract women. We attract the opposite gender, but that doesn't mean that we don't want the women. That for me, I don't want females all up in my DMs, because that makes me look like a man whore, and that's not what I want. I just want to be cool with everybody, but at the same time, I think if you're talking to a lot of people, that's nasty. In my eyes, that's nasty, because you don't know if they're clean or not. So I prefer to stick with one person. And
you think as a guy that really matters, though?
Yeah, because I'm not trying to catch nothing. I'm not trying to catch no disease if I go mess with this.
No, that makes sense. Like, you don't obviously want to catch a disease, but you think a guy who's super attractive to a lot of women, you think that's actually a turn off to women or a turn on?
I have no comment on that. Maybe Liz can, but I think
good answer.
I've kind of had that. Maybe Liz has had this, and women have attract all these men and they get catcalls. I've similarly gotten that, and I understand why they feel really humiliated, or they feel embarrassed or uncomfortable in the situations. And that's one of the reasons why I don't do it, because I've gone it and I don't like it for myself, so I'm not going to do it to somebody else. I don't, it's not attractive to be like catcalling it. And if I have all these women on me, then for me, I feel like, oh, I get all these women, I don't need to try. But at the same time, since you have all those women, you don't have the one that you want. So for me, I focus on the one that I want, not what I can have.
You want to touch on the truth? You want to lay the truth on
I
these
mean,
guys real quick?
I get catcalled a lot, and half the time, I mean, like now I just ignore it. Goes, but actually, it's kind of interesting because it's normally my partner who recognizes when someone is checking me out and not me. But again, maybe it's just because I've gotten to the point where it's kind of like I just don't even think about it now. On the other hand, too, like I know, like, so from my experience, when I've been on a dating app before, people don't think I'm real. They think I'm a catfish, like for real. Everyone thinks I'm a catfish on a dating app. Actually, my partner even thought I was a catfish.
Yeah, but the question is, your partner or the guy that you're attracted to, if he was attracted to other women, would that disqualify him from your attraction?
If he was attracted to other women aside from
No.
me?
Yeah, if he was attractive, like in terms of his value was high.
Okay.
And he was a good-looking dude, had his shit together, had good money, had good status, and other women wanted him too, right? Would that make you turn off on him?
It would depend. If
And
he
depend
was
on what?
giving me attention and he was treating me different from the rest of them, then I could care less who's trying to slide into his DMs or whatnot. And at the same time, I mean, maybe it's because of, like, since I'm an exception, I like females. So I'd be like, yo, she's cute. But at the same time, if women were hitting him up all the time, if he started talking to a woman more than me, if he started spending money on her, or if he started going to watch TV shows with her instead of coming home to me, then I'll be like, no, you're cutting this off right now, or I'm cutting your dick off. But I don't mind women talking to him. If anything, I think it's kind of I don't know, maybe like boosts my ego, because I know, hey, that's my man. At the end of the night, he's in bed with me. There's all these attractive women that are hitting on him or sliding into his DMs. Okay, whatever. It's because he's got a good job, he's good looking, whatever. But I'm not concerned about it until he starts spending his resources on her. And then after that, it's kind of like, no.
There you go. So you heard it from the horse's mouth herself. Okay, so that's the thing. Men and women aren't the same, right? Because a top value man, a man who's got his shit together, who is going to be attractive to other females, women want that, right? And there's a couple of stats I'm going to throw out real quick, guys, for you guys. If you guys didn't know, only 5% of men get swiped right on Tinder or dating apps. So there's 95% of men are unattractive to women. Right, and it's actually, there's a stat of this, like it's 80% was the stat, but I think it's more than that. And I'll be honest with you, it's probably closer to 90-10. But 90% of men women find are ugly, not just like he's okay, but I don't really find him attractive. No, like they do not find the 90% of men attractive at all. So that's my point. Is like the top tier guys, the guys who have some of this stuff, right? Some of this stuff on point, right? They're gonna not look at that as the same. So if a guy's got his shit together, they're not gonna be, oh well, he's attractive to other women. It's not the same, right? Whereas if guys, if like we see some girls that's constantly getting, flown out or hitting on freaking yachts or freaking, in some dude's apartment, like, how'd you get into that high rise apartment and who's taking that photo, right? Like you're gonna be like, oh dude, she's a hoe, she's a slut. I'm not committing to that. Maybe sex only. But I'm not committing to that, right? That's just the honest truth, okay? So I'm gonna grill you a little bit, Jaden. So what's your relationship story? Because I want to get into some other topics, but I don't want to go all on Benji only. So I mean, have you been in any relationships in the past?
Oh yeah.
How long and what's the term? And
I haven't been like in a lot of relationships, but let's just say
What's the
previous.
number? What's the number?
Okay, I would say probably at least 5.
Mm-hmm.
I would say 5,
Oh.
but most of them they were really short, and there was at least like 2 of them that was quite long. One of them was probably like a year, and then the other one was possibly like 2 years.
And who ended it? Who
Me.
ended-
For both of those like long year relationships, it would possibly be me. You know.
Okay.
Um,
Why did you end it? Out of curiosity.
Let's see. Maybe I could say for the previous one, or like the latest one. I would say, for me, overplaying my part. You know, if there's something wrong with the relationship, I would say that I overplay my part, and the other partner wouldn't really play their own part. It would always be me trying to play like overplay, and I would do it, and then later on, like, I would start like thinking about it, like thinking for myself that like, oh shit, I'm like, I'm overplaying it. I shouldn't be doing that.
So pragmatically, what were you bringing, and then what wasn't she bringing in return?
It's just the effort.
Okay.
The effort. Like, I put so much effort just for
Can you talk about something specific? Like, what did you do?
I try to, I don't know, I would say
Like take her out to eat.
Talk to her, try to communicate, I try hard to think about, the word, communication is key.
Mm-hmm.
And I always try to communicate, and sometimes, it doesn't really work like that when someone else doesn't communicate, like when they don't communicate back with you, and it's pretty hard to do that.
So like you may say like you would ask her stuff like, hey, what do you like, or what do you want to eat, or do you want to go travel somewhere, and what would she be like, just like not giving you any answers or nothing like that?
Well, it could be something like that if we get into an argument, if we get in an argument, she would even talk to me, or like she would like probably like ghost me,
Okay.
like, so it would be really weird. Like,
What were the arguments about? What were mostly the arguments about?
Should we get into it, guys?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, man, open up as much as you like. Like I said, I hope these channels, like I said, these podcasts too, is it's supposed to help. Like obviously our Asian brothers out there, and obviously young men in general too, right? Like a lot of stuff that Benji spouted, I think a lot of young guys, if they and yourself too. I mean, you hanging out with this social circle, I think is a great thing that all you guys are hanging out with like-minded dudes, because I think that's gonna help you guys out. Having a brotherhood around you that value the same things, kind of have the same mindset, keep each other straight. I think that's gonna be very helpful. Successful, But yeah, feel free, man. Like I said, don't be uncomfortable. If you don't wanna talk
No worries,
about it,
no worries, Juan. So what was the question again?
So I mean, like, what were some of the things you guys argue about, right? Because like, guys, we can be very pragmatic, and sometimes it's uncomfortable to talk about. And I can give you guys an example if you guys want me to kind of like, kind of give you an example of what I'm talking about. If you want me to start.
Please do.
Okay,
yeah, go ahead.
So hey guys, like I've talked about on my channel all the time, right? My wife and I, we've been married for over 20 years at this point, right? And it's tough. It's tough, like, right? It's about a long-term commitment, and as a man, you're constantly demanded, and it's for the reason, it's for the truth, right? But you're held to your values every single day, right? Yeah. I can't wake up in the morning and be like, oh, hey, today I don't feel like going to work. I don't feel like paying the bills today, right? Or hey, if a burglar breaks into my house tomorrow, tonight, hey honey, it's your turn. Go grab the gun and go get him this time. I'll get him the next time, right? So that's what I'm talking about, right? And guys, we're pretty simple. What we want women to bring to the table is obviously keep yourself in good shape, right? Make sure you look good, right? I expect you to. If I'm working all the time, eat right and go to the gym. Keep your ass in shape for me, right? Be sexy for me, right? And then obviously, be feminine, right? Like take care of the kids, right? Be nurturing to me when I come home and I have a bad day, right? You don't need to like solve my problems for me, right? I know how to solve my own damn problems, but hey, just tell me it's gonna be all right, right? Show me that it's gonna be all right, right? You come to home to a peaceful house, right? That's what she's bringing, right? Clean, organized, peaceful house. I come home like, it feels good, right? I don't come home to more chaos, right? And then of course, like I said, we're all adults here. I mean, I know you're a little bit underage, but you're gonna become an adult here pretty soon.
Pretty soon.
And like I said, we need to talk about these subjects, but like it's about sex. I expect sex. I mean, it's the honest truth, right? If I'm busting my ass out there, and if I'm gonna be committed to you only, and I can't go, date other women, and I can't go have sex with other women, I expect sex from you. So that's what I'm talking about pragmatically, right? And I talk about it with her all the time. It's not something I sugarcoat. It's like, hey, if I'm doing this, I expect this.
How does she feel about that?
Well, like anything, obviously, if you're not in the mood, if we're talking about sex strictly, right? If you're not in the mood, obviously you can't force somebody to, to do it. And I don't want to call it grape, right? It's not that, right? But it's about duty, right? And what I found is that, in a traditional relationship, in a very traditional relationship with my wife, which my wife and I have, the man has to demand that. And I think in general, just overall, the man has to demand that, right? Yeah. You don't want a woman that like you come home and then she's ready to go, right? Like you're kind of questioning if your wife is always wanting to have sex, right? Because it's not in women's nature to constantly be for lack of better words, a sex addict, right? Yeah. Men, we have more of that sex drive, that hormone, right? To want that sex drive.
I think men show that sex drive more than women, but in reality, women are more hornier than men. We just don't see that.
You're right. And and to finish what I was saying is that women want to do it, but it's the man that has to instigate.
Correct. Yep.
That's the correct, right? So they want to do it. It's like, but you got to push them, right? So it's almost kind of like this cat and mouse game that we're always constantly playing, right? So my point is I expect that I have to do my job, right? I come home every day. I got to keep myself in shape, right? I got to keep myself physically active. And if I'm not the one demanding it from her, how am I supposed to expect her, like you said, to eventually want it as well too? Yeah. So those are some of the pragmatic things, right? Is what men have to play their role, the male traditional roles, and then obviously the women playing their traditional roles as well too, right? So sometimes arguments spin from that. It's as simple as that, right? Having stupid arguments about like who's taking care of the dishes tonight, right? And whose job is it to freaking to do this, and then a lot of it has to do with unfortunately sex as well too, right? So yeah. So that's kind of what I was touching on, right? Gotcha. What kind of arguments you guys are getting into? Yeah.
Nah, it'd be some small stuff, honestly. But we did get into like possibly a big argument, and it did have to do with cheating.
You cheating or?
Oh no, not me, not me. Okay. It could never be me. Okay. But it wasn't me.
So did she like physically cheat with somebody else, or was she just like?
It was just like cheating through online, like social media, like private messaging and stuff. But I don't want to go too much of that. Yeah. But short story is she cheated, and then I decided to stay with her for a little bit, but then over time. She really took advantage of my kindness because, ever since I still, let what she did slide, like I felt like that she really took advantage of my kindness, and I felt like I overdid my part. So, I'm just like, I think it's time for myself to get more of that self-love and not get treated by someone like that way, so.
So to be absolutely clear, she kind of like put herself out there for other men to get her. Like
most likely, yeah.
Yeah. So did like someone slide in her DMs, or did she like slide into somebody else's DMs?
I feel like it's like both ways,
Okay. And so you just like caught wind of this conversation.
I just like caught it out of nowhere. It was like so random because it was through Snapchat, and like I pressed the profile, and like after pressing the profile, it shows like all these saved photos, and they were just like a whole bunch of selfies, and then just like a whole shit ton of like some explicit stuff, and I'm just like, wow.
And did you don't have to tell me or not, but did she actually went and actually physically cheated on you with this other dude?
Well, no, but it's just I just felt really disrespected
Yeah.
for how much effort and time that I put for her,
Yeah.
and it just that's pretty much
Another hard question then.
Mhm.
Did she respect you more after you took her back, or did she disrespect you less after you took her back?
She disrespected me. She kind of disrespected me less. I don't know. It's like, damn, that is hard. Whoa.
Yeah.
Wait.
No, 'cause this is a good learning lesson for guys, right? Because there's a lot of guys out there. We're not special. You know what I'm saying? Like every
Yeah.
guy goes through. I've been heartbroken, man. Like the very first girl that I went with, she broke my fucking heart. But it's a good learning lesson, right? Just like you, it's kind of like you learn your value afterwards. If you can have the correct mindset.
Yeah.
If you can say, hey man, I'm gonna get better from this and I'm gonna work on myself.
Uh-huh.
So like I said, all these conversations, it's a good conversation, because I know a lot of Asian brothers out there, we're introverted. You're introverted too, a little bit in a way, I can sense, and you keep this in yourself, And I think sometimes you just need to talk to it with your boys, or at least talk to it with like-minded dudes, and I think the solution will be better, So yeah, so I mean, so you're saying that she actually kind of respected you more after you took her back?
Well, actually, I don't know. It's just she respects me when we're good, and then when we're not good, I just feel a bit more disrespected, because when I always want to try to help fix a problem, she wants to like randomly start an argument. So I'm just like, okay, so what's the dealio?
Was it about finances? I mean, was
No,
it
not
about-
at all.
No,
Not at
so
all.
not financial, right?
It's not.
So,
It's nothing financial,
Uh-huh.
but yeah, it's nothing like that.
And how did she take it when you left her?
Oh, she really felt hurt. She wanted me back, I could say. Like, I don't know if that's what it actually was, but I think I would say probably a couple days after I broke up with her, I basically blocked her on everything, but the only thing I forgot about blocking her on is Facebook.
Okay.
So she called me through Facebook Messenger and was, trying to apologize and stuff. And then not only she tried to like contact me, she kind of involved my mom into it. And it kind of annoyed me because, it's about me and her, but she involved my mom into it because, she was trying to ask her if she can come by to the house while I'm working on my car, distracting myself. Hey, is it okay if, I can come through and, talk to Jaden or whatever. And, my mom was kind of annoyed by it because she knew that, like, we broke up. Like, I didn't even tell her anything, I haven't told her a lot of news and stuff because I didn't want her to be a part of it. I don't want her involved because it doesn't have to do with her. Even though she's my mom, I know that she wants to make sure that I am okay and I am happy with a relationship like that. And, but she knows that I'd be going through it and stuff, but, like, I just haven't said anything, and with me trying to live my life, she kind of figured out that I'm not in a relationship. But anyways, she tried contacting her about texting her, and then I guess my mom made a little lie to her saying, I don't think that's a good idea. Jaden is seeing someone else. I think you should.
Your mom got your back.
Yeah.
All right.
She was like, I don't think that's a good idea.
So did your mom even like this girl then if she said that?
She liked her in the first place, but when she found out about what happened between me and her, she just immediately did not like her because, I'm her son. She wants to make sure I'm happy.
Yeah.
And, with a lot of things that's been with a lot of things that we were just going through, like, such as arguments and stuff, she just, lost that respect, And I understand for her because, she is my mom. And I understand what she wants to do, like, what she expects me to feel, like, I don't know how to explain it, but, like,
Well, your mom's very traditional, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she's like half,
Yeah.
So she's like a bit traditional and then a bit,
More westernized.
westernized, yeah. But
No, but I think your mom's definitely, and both your guys' moms. I mean, I think, coming from a traditional background definitely helped you guys in that relationship aspect because they gave you some good advice. I'll be honest with you, most modern Western women, they don't give you that type of advice in this day and age, right? And so, guys, notice how both being very stoic, right? Both knowing their value, and then both sticking to the purpose of what they love and what they do keeps them in that correct phase of attracting women, but also not getting in trouble with women, right? Because yes, you did kind of like unfortunately took her back, and you were kind of, I mean, for lack of better words, kind of like being a little bit beta to her a little bit. But when you finally said, "Hey, man, I'm my own guy, and she's not respecting me the way she should be respecting me," and you stepped away, that's when you got the respect from her. And I think for you, just kind of being on your purpose, right? And be like, hey, this is what I love. This is what I do. I'm not focusing on girls. I know what I need to do to keep myself attractive though, right? Be in shape, get money, get status, right? But not focusing on the girls. Like I said, for you two guys to learn that at a young age, because it's very rare that men break up with women. That's another stat. I don't know if you guys know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, yeah. I mean, I'm too nice,
Same.
So I'm too nice, and
You feel the pressure of not wanting to hurt them.
yeah,
I think that's what
I mean, for
a lot of guys
me,
do.
yeah, and that's why I didn't want to end things, But the more you think about it, like as long as you love yourself and you make sure you're doing fine for yourself, um, that's all that matters. I mean, for me, that's what it matters.
No, that's the life lesson that every guy out there watching this podcast needs to understand. Like I said, it's very important that you take that action to work on yourself first, right? Don't, for lack of better words, simp for the girl. It's not gonna make her respect you more. It's actually gonna make you be more disrespected from her, honestly, right? So go work on yourself, get yourself better, learn from it, and that's actually what's gonna make you more attractive. But still, I mean, the fact that you had the guts and the freaking, for lack of better words, the balls to freaking break up with her, that's good because, like I said, typically men will like be too nice, like you guys were saying, and kind of trudge through this relationship, right? And honestly, guys, that's the worst thing you can do in a relationship.
Yeah.
Right? The woman hates you more. You're more miserable. You're never gonna get better, and she's never gonna be like Liz was saying, right? They still want to be with the best option possible. So as long as they know that the best option possible is committed to them, that's what makes them happy, And so cool. I mean, yeah, I'm very glad that you two found that at a young age, so that way you guys are not going to get in trouble, right?
Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
You want to add anything to that, Liz?
I agree with that statistic that, men aren't the ones that doing the dumping.
Yeah, normally it's crazy. Normally the only two reasons why men break up with women is either one, she's a freaking drug addict, right? That's how bad it is. Like it has to get that bad before a man will break up with her, or that she's like like pretty much like beating the kids, like destroying something like that. But those are typically, it's not finances, right? It's not because she got ugly or anything like that. It's something crazy like the last two, right? Yeah, and that's this goes with divorce too. So just so you guys as young guys out there still navigating, yeah, most women instigate the divorces, right? And it ruins men because obviously in the Western world they can take half your stuff, right? 90% of child support and alimony goes to the woman, right? And so what do you guys think about knowing that? Would you guys, and you guys are still out there dating, you guys are still, obviously having success, getting with a lot of girls, right? Because like I was telling you guys, most men like are not attracted to most women. Most men don't have options like you guys are. So knowing that the fact that you guys are attracting girls out there, right? And knowing this type of stuff, how would you navigate the landscape a little different? Would your guys' viewpoints of wanting to get married change now that I've kind of told you guys these things?
For me, no, because regardless of the statistics generalized over a huge population of people won't affect my opinion on that one person that I want. If I want something, I'm gonna get it. Everything that I've worked hard for, and I've achieved it pretty much. So I think if I were to push myself for a female and if I'm not winning her over, I think I'm gonna let her go and then try to find something that will also accept me, but something that I'm happy with. I agree with that statistic actually. I think women do divorce men or leave men in general in relationships. I think because they know that there's always another option that they could easily get, and men don't. Men have to work hard to achieve the woman he desires. Women can easily go out, as she says, she could get swiped on, but men won't get swiped on. But even if you go out instead of doing a application dating site, men won't get attention. I've seen it for myself. I've walked into a mall and I break necks, like men and girls. And
Pause.
uh,
Anyways, man, it's all good.
I
No shame.
I walk in and I break necks and I'm like, well, I'm dressed in sweats and I got like forces on and just a t-shirt. I'm not even looking nice. Why are you looking at me? But from that I look at that, and that's why I kind of understood why women don't, or at least some don't like getting that catcalled or getting all that attention, because it gets uncomfortable. When I walk into a public place, everyone always stares at me, no matter who it is, and in a way I feel threatened, mainly because of where I was raised, where everyone's kind of a threat in the ghetto. So I've always kept that mentality, but now that I live more towards higher poverty, more money, I still feel like when people look at me, it's a threat. But usually when people look at me, it's because I'm attractive. But that's not just because I know that I'm attractive and I could break an attractive girl's neck just by walking. That doesn't mean that I know I could go get her. That doesn't mean that I'm gonna go get her. It just, I think it boosts my confidence, but it doesn't boost it enough for me to become a different person and become a man whore, or to go out my way and start messing with a bunch of females. Just because I'm attracted doesn't mean I have to be that person.
Well, how about this? I mean, now that you know these things, right? And actually, you've kind of been kind of self-aware a little bit for a while now, as I can tell, right? How could, I don't want to use this word, but like, for lack of better words, how would you take advantage of the situation then? At least let it play to your advantage.
I have flirted my way into kind of so I've flirted my way into like getting stuff pretty much. Mainly when I was younger, I was just like, oh, can you buy me food? Mainly food, because that's pretty much all I spent my money on when I was younger. So if a girl was there, I was like, yo, can you buy me food? And then so that's kind of what I did. That's the only thing I take advantage of women. I don't like to take advantage of women, because it makes me feel like I'm dehumanizing them, because I wouldn't want someone taking advantage of me. So the most advantage that I've taken a woman was for them to buy me food and like Uber rides or stuff like that. So I can't say I use my attractiveness to get a girl's number. I don't go up to females. Females don't come up to me. I know that many guys will get this, but if you're an attractive guy, but you don't want all the attention, you go into that public place and you get all these eyes, but you just don't want them, because you know that your self-worth is better than what you have right here. Because at the end of the day, you know what you want, but you haven't encountered that yet.
Okay, but this is kind of a tough question, right? Being so young, right? And I'm assuming, and you can tell me otherwise, right? But you're not ready to commit, right? I mean, you want to work on your values a little bit more, work on yourself a little bit more, right? Beyond your purpose, right?
My ideal age to get married is around 28 to 30, mainly because I don't want to start a family if I can't provide for myself. That was my main goal as a child. If I can't provide for myself, I'm not going to try to force a family. I'm not going to try to get married, mainly because I've seen of how my family lives. I've seen, when I went to Bolivia, I've seen how things are. So I don't want to bring a child into a life that is hell, because we live in a world that it's a piece of shit. Yeah, it's a world that we love, but they're gonna, if you can't take care of yourself, how do you see yourself taking care of another child? If you can't take care of the animals, the cats or dogs you have at your house, how are you gonna take care of a child? So I don't plan on committing until I know that I can provide for myself and for my family. That's my goal.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So then, tough question now. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is going to be very good information to you viewers out there, especially young kids, young guys. I mean, there's the top 5%, Benji, if that's what, I don't want to state it that way, but if you're getting attraction like that from females and men, right? But in terms of looks and stuff like that, you're like the top 10%, 5%. Because like I was telling you guys, most females do not find men attractive, right? So how do you, as a young kid that has this urge to want to have sex, right? Every guy wants to have sex, right? So inform our viewers out there, as someone that's getting it, for lack of better words, the opportunity more than most guys would, right? How do you self-control? What keeps you focused and grounded so that way you're not getting sidetracked from that unwanted urge, I guess?
Money and cars. My main thing, I don't like to talk to females because I know it's going to be a waste of money that I could put into my car. So especially being an S2000, everything has taxed, S2K tax. So I don't have money to be buying a female movie tickets because I want to go hang out with her, or going to some nice place. Unless I'm in a relationship, then I have a reason. But if I'm single and I want to impress a female, blowing a check on a female is a dumb flex. And so it's not going to get you anywhere. She's going to take advantage of your money. It's best for you to go on a walk or them small dates. That's how I see that you could get somewhere, instead of wasting your own resources without knowing you're guaranteed to have sex. I rather take things slow instead of rushing it like that.
Okay. So as an 18-year-old then, and you have this 10-year window before you're really ready to commit, right? I mean, you told me yourself, right? I've been paying attention. I've been listening, right? So how, because on one hand, you said that, when you're looking to get into relationships with a girl, right? You want to be serious. You want to show that, it's about commitment. It's about a long-term deal, right? But could you say that at 18 years old right now? Right now, being so young and you have this 10-year window before you're really ready to commit?
She has to really, really be, I'd say, the one. And no one knows 100% the one. Even after, if you get in a relationship, or if you get married, you're still going to meet. There's always a better person than what you have. There's always going to be someone else with more money, a better house, a better car. There's always going to be someone who has something better than you, more attractive. But you just have to appreciate what you have. And for me, I'm not gonna take advantage of, if she's a pretty girl, I'm gonna put a kid in her just because she's pretty, and I know I'm guaranteed her just because I put a kid in her, that she's going to be with me and she's going to be happy. I prefer to get with a less attractive female. If I'm happy, then I don't really look at looks like that. Obviously I care about looks, but I focus more on personality than looks and body. So if you have a shitty personality, I don't even like you. Like if you're one of those stuck up girls who think they're the shit, that's kind of unattractive to me. That's me personally. I know a lot of guys think other ways, but I think it varies on who it is, on what type of guy you are, what you have, and what you have to offer, of the person who you become.
So would you say then, if you're in a relationship right now at 18 years old with a girl, it's probably going to be like a long-term vetting process for you then, right? If this girl is going to be sticking with you this whole time, let's say she sticks with you, right? You're in a relationship right now for 2 years and about 4 months, right? Let's say she sticks with you for another 4 years, right? So now you're 22. How old is she?
19.
19, so she'll be 23, 1 year older than you, right? right? And you're getting to that age now. Obviously, some girl's been with you for 4 years, 6 years now at that point, right? She's like, say, hey, I've been here a long time. The obvious answer, the obvious question is going to be like, where's our relationship stand, right? Where's our and obviously women are on a biological clock as well too, right? So if you vetted her for that long, is that kind of the strategy to say, okay, hey, this girl's been with me for 6 years, 7 years, she's proven that she'd be with me through thick and thin as I'm coming up. Is that kind of part of your vetting process then, or?
Pretty much, because once you grow older, as I can't say because I'm 18, I'm young. From what I've seen, old people, what they tell younger people is mainly to be happy. So I've kind of taken that into more of a deeper context, because you only live once, so why waste your time when you could be enjoying your life? Instead of messing around with all these females, you could be messing around with the one who you're gonna grow old with. And if she sticks with you through thick and thin, I think that's a better candidate than going for someone who's just gonna provide good ass and good tits every night, because you could buy that. She could go get surgery for that, but she's not gonna get surgery for a good attitude. She's not gonna get good surgery for a good personality.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because this is you guys don't know that, but this is actually a very huge debating topic on this community, and I think it's something that we should touch on right now, because I think it's a good opportunity, because you're kind of in that situation, right? So there's a topic that, well, hey, if a woman's gonna stick with you for 6 years, 8 years, she ruined, for lack of better words, the most prosperous years of her years, right? Her young, youthful years, to attract potentially a better man or another man, right? And if you don't commit to her, right, then pretty much she's put all her eggs in one basket. She's older now, 23, 24, let's say 25 if you guys with each other for that long. And let's say at the end of that, you don't commit to her. She's pretty much like, so like women are like, well, hey, I can see it from the female perspective, right? The blue pill side. It's like, well, hey, you took the best 6 years of my life, 7 years of my life, and so you just played me. And now you're going to have all these women like, men are trash. He just used me for sex, right? That type of stuff. So how do you advise both sides of the situation in that particular sense, right? Because if you need that long to vet a woman to know that she's a ride or die chick, but if it doesn't work out in the end for that woman, how is it going to turn out well for her then?
That's a good question. I think... So you said that she used up pretty much her good years. I think that goes for both ways, men and women. I think once you're 18 through 24, that's your most attractive years, unless you're just someone who's better. But I'm pretty sure those are your most attractive years, the years that your physique is good or you look good. I think that I put myself in her shoes. If I see, if I was a female, I'm talking in a female perspective. If I come home and I see my husband all fat and not doing anything, I don't see anything in that. So I think that's what females see. If they want to come home to an attractive dude and who has money, who has game, who has good dick, they're gonna want to stick around. They're not gonna stick around if they don't have that. And I think that's what mainly women look for. Damn, I think I ran off the topic.
No, you didn't run off the topic, but it's a dilemma, right? Because you are right in the sense that, yes, most people in general, your best physical attributes are going to be in that younger years, right? But the thing about men is why we're different than females is because we can make up for those deficiencies in other ways, right? Because most men don't become financially successful, don't become mentally and status successful until we're in our early 30s or mid 30s, right? And so it takes time for the things that are attractive to women in a guy. It takes time to acquire, like you guys were talking about, right? We got to work for our attraction, right? And so just because you're 30 years old now, maybe you're not as in shape, maybe you're not as young looking as a guy as you were when you were 21, you have all the other things to make up for it, right? You have your finance in check, you have your status in check, right? But a female doesn't have that.
Correct.
And then this is the current dating market, right? This is the dating market because the current generation, your guys' generation, has been taught that both men and women are equal, right? And so women can look for the same things, but human nature cannot get deprogrammed, right? Men still want young women, right? It's a biological stat. Like men between the ages of 18 to 60 years old prefer women who are 18 to 24. Right? It's not even young across the board. Pretty much every guy wants a young woman, right? So that's my hand. So how can we teach both our Asian brothers or Hispanic brothers, right, and Hispanic sisters and Asian sisters out there? How do we navigate this landscape now? Because of if you're gonna waste time with a good-looking guy like yourself, and he needs that time to vet a woman properly, what's her insurance that they're gonna commit to her in the end?
I think a female's insurance to stick around mainly is finances, because if we go back to traditional talk, a woman needs a man to provide for her while she provides for the family. So if a man can't provide for himself, she's not going to want to be with him because she doesn't see herself starting a family with him. And I think it goes both ways, but we just see women have that more than men in today's standards. Yeah. Do you want to say something?
You want to touch on that? What do you think the answer is?
I don't know. I got nothing to say about it. So,
What do you think, Liz? What's the female perspective? Because this is a very hotly debated topic in the RP community space, and I haven't seen anybody address it until now, right? Because most guys on this space, what they want to say is, well, hey, if he's a high value man, you're just gonna have to wait, bitch. Or he's gonna trade you up for something younger and hotter. You better lock him down before that time is right. But if the man's perspective is that he needs that time to vet the woman properly, to know that she's a ride or die chick and she's just not here for my money, right? And he needs that time. How do we solve that dilemma of getting women who want these high value guys to commit to them?
That's kind of interesting. I don't think I really have a good answer for that, since as a woman and coming from growing up very traditionally, if a man won't vet for me within like the first year or whatnot, I'll leave. Because like if I were still in that age group, because for me, like that's the prime years of my life. That's the opportune moment for me to have kids, start a family. And if I'm waiting 6 or 7 years until I'm like 30 before I have kids, in Asia we have this term that's called leftover woman. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but
It's pretty much old women.
They literally Asian Asian aunties and uncle, like older Asians will shun you if you're not married, have kids by 30, because at that point nobody wants you. That's why they call you leftover women. So if I'm with a guy, I'm like, in my prime years 18 to 24, and if by a year he's like not wanting to commit, then I'm not going to waste my time, because why would I wait if he's going to take forever? But then again, at the same time, I wouldn't date a guy in my age group, because like what Tuan was saying, most men have their finances and their clout and all that when they're a lot older. I'm not going to meet a guy that's 24 and already has all their shit together, even if he did have all the other things, whether it's from generational wealth or he's an actor, he's popular. Mentally, he may not be there.
And those are exceptions to the norm, by the way. I mean,
Yeah.
if he's got generational wealth or if he's an actor, I mean, we're talking about the 0.0001% of men already.
Yeah. So like the odds of dating someone in my age gap, no, it's a waste of time, because I want a guy that's older that I know can provide for me. And like, I just wouldn't waste my time like that. So actually, I don't know if you guys know this statistic or meta, because you were talking about being in shape and all that. The meta in the IT industry right now are older men, like 50 plus, with women that are under 30. So I will go to these IT events and all these like my older directors, bosses, and whatnot, and they had this cute little arm candy on them, and I'm like, oh. And then I found out, oh, that's his fiance or his wife. I was like,
Yeah.
she looks younger than me.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the uncomfortable truth. The answer, unfortunately, is not a flattering and unfortunately a nice or positive answer. The truth is, yes, women and men have to vet sooner, right? Men obviously have a little bit more time to vet because
They have all the time in the
obviously
world.
they're not losing their value in that time frame,
Yeah.
right? But as if it was my daughter, which I do, I have a 15-year-old daughter. If it was my daughter, I would tell her, hey, if this guy is not obviously showing that commitment to you in that 1 or 2 year time frame, then yeah, you have to leave. But touching on what Benji said correctly though, because you did answer correctly there, which like I said, man, you got a lot of wisdom in you for such a young age, right? It's just look at the finances. Is the man actually on his pursuit of gathering the finances, right? Is he going to be like, hey, yeah, I'm doing my part to eventually get the money that I can to provide for you, the family, the kids, and stuff like that. So if the man is still doing that and he shows that he's still bringing that to you, then yeah, stick by his side until he finally becomes, that rich top 10%, top 5% guy, right? So yeah, so I think for our sisters and brothers out there, just you gotta pay attention to the truth, which is that other person doing their part to bring their values to you? But these are good guidelines, right? 1 or 2 years, if he's not showing anything, if he's getting fat, if he's not doing his job and losing money, right, not working towards his purpose, then yeah, leave his ass, right? But at the same time, I get it as a guy, if we can freaking, hey, I say uncomfortable truths about guys on this show too, right? If we can hook, line, and sinker a girl on the hook for that many years and get sexual access for her for that long without committing fully, hey man, that's a win for us too, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not hating on that either. So I'm not saying that's what you were doing. I'm just saying, right? Right, I get it. There's a game. There's the reason why we call it the game, right? And everyone's got to know how to navigate the game, you know what I'm saying? Jaden, I'll let you continue, but I also wanted to let you guys know it's been about 2.5 hours too. Are you guys cool? You guys still want to keep going, or you guys got to run?
No, I'm good.
You good? What do you think about now that you kind of know these things? What and you kind of like learned a little bit yourself by breaking up with your ex, right? But now you kind of know the navigate. How would you navigate moving forward, Jaden? And what would you recommend to our viewers out there how to navigate it?
Navigate as like
The dating market, just kind of because you guys are out there. Like I said, as much as I know about the market, I'm not in it, right? Because I'm married, right? I see you kids, I see everyone out there kind of struggling and doing all these things. I know these stats. I bring this information to give awareness to people out there, but I myself is not, for lack of better words, applying it. You guys are out there applying it, right? Because you guys are actually out there. So how would you actually go about applying it?
Oh, snap. I don't know how to explain. I really don't know how to explain.
Try to rephrase it.
Yeah, so for like I said, knowing these stats, and you guys kind of like I said, kind of found it organically just by your upbringing, who you hang out with, your mom and dad, which were great resources, right? But now you know the stats. Like, how would you navigate? Like, if your next relationship, you're looking for a girl, what are you gonna be looking for? Like, how would you vet her properly, and what values would you expect for her to bring to the table? And what would you do yourself? Like, knowing this moving forward, what are you going to do with your own self to self-improve, self-love yourself moving forward, right?
Gotcha. I mean, the one thing I expect, I would say, like, loyalty. I would say loyalty in a way. Like, even if you love someone, like, you don't know if they're being loyal to you. So it's like basically like a bit about loyalty over love, I could say. That's just in my opinion. I don't know. It's hard to explain for some reason. I don't like.
Like, what do you look into when you're looking for a female? What do you look for a female? And yeah,
I just say personality. No matter like how they look, it doesn't stop what like it doesn't mean like they have like a really different personality, like or like they have like a bad personality.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just see how are their personalities like. You know.
I'm sorry. What I've seen,
Mm.
honestly, mainly people around my age, at Jaden's age,
Mm-hmm.
who I've interacted, and if we had these talks, we tend to go for personality over lust and body of a female. And I know that there's the statistic of older men wanting younger women, especially because they look good in their bodies. But from my perspective, I've seen more guys around my age wants a female who mainly cares more than what they could provide talking about their body. Like if, when we're talking about their body, like if there's a female who can make me laugh, I'm gonna take the female who can make me laugh over the female who can open her legs whenever I want her to, because I know whenever I'm feeling down, she could come and put a smile on my face. But that's all you is if your pussy is all that you could provide. That's it's kind of a waste of time. I think what more younger guys nowadays, they focus on personality over lust, but that's kind of the circle that I put myself around of the guys that I talk to. Um,
Would you say though that you put yourself around guys that don't have an issue with women though, meaning they can actually get relationships from girls, meaning they can actually attract girls though?
yeah, I think everyone from the group is easily can get somebody.
Yeah, I mean they're not having a hard time. They're not being
Yeah.
ignored by women. They're not given like have no shot at women, right? So do you think that maybe puts you guys in a skewed perception of what's really happening out there? Because the fact that you guys don't have a hard time with women, you guys can look at other aspects, right? You guys can look at other personality traits.
Mm, for for me, I put myself in multiple perspectives, so that's just one. I know that guys pretty much just want a good looking ass and good tits and a good face, and that's all they want until they want to settle down. Um, but at least for me, and my mom kind of influences. She's like respect women. I kind of prefer personality over that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How much of the personality though, like really like weighs into that attraction level? I mean, when you guys talk personality, are you guys talking like? Give me some pragmatic examples, right? Is it because she's very sweet, very kind, very nurturing, or is it because she's more outspoken? She has her own obviously opinions, right? She holds a conversation with you guys well. Maybe she's not like dumb like rocks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what is it about the personality that attracts?
For,
Let our sisters know out there what attracts guys like yourself, right?
for me, I think a bit older, since I'm 18 now. I think when you're in the high school age, all you just honestly go for whoever, because financially it doesn't matter if you're between 16 to 20. Financially it doesn't really matter. It just depends what you want at that age. But after that, you tend me I'd go for confidence, and if she has money, and for personality wise, she's got to. I don't like because I grew up in the hood, so I don't like ratchet girls. I don't like girls who are like that. Uh, I like um, I could say Latinas, because I like someone who I could speak my own language with, and so I feel comfortable. As long as I feel comfortable, I think that's main key. If her personality makes me feel comfortable, then I'm gonna feel at home whenever I'm with her. So, as her being a Latin female and I'm a Latin male, we could speak Spanish whenever, and I feel much more at home than if I'm just speaking English to my white girlfriend or my black girlfriend, or I'm I'd go.
Have you dated other ethnicities before?
No.
Okay, so it's mostly just been Latinos then.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
But it's mainly that I haven't gone out and want to have other races in my relationships. I really really like the fact that I could speak the same language with my partner, and that they could connect with my family. I'm a really big family guy, so if she gets along with my family, then that's a big plus for me. If my mother doesn't like the female, then there's gonna be a bit complications there.
Okay. Okay. What about yourself? What are some of the pragmatic, like, personality traits you're looking for? And then when you say loyal, I mean, this term gets thrown out a lot. And I have, every guy has their different, I guess, standards of what loyalty is, right? I mean, what is loyalty to you then, Jaden? Like, loyalty and the personality traits that you're looking for.
Loyalty, truthfulness, someone that could, be there, be there for you through thick and thin, or vice versa. However you say it, like throughout your hard times and stuff. Someone that could be supportive in a way, and someone that can that. I don't know how to explain it. I just.
What do you guys think of loyalty?
Well, for me personally, like, and I'll let Liz answer too, because obviously I really believe, and I think it is 100% truth, that loyalty is shown differently from men and women. Right? When I think of women loyalty, 100%, maybe 99.9%, really, I think of sexuality loyalty to me. Right? Like, don't go show your ass out on Instagram. Don't, post freaking pics. You can wear something sexy. I love my wife wearing nice clothes and her being attractive to other men. But the way she carries herself, the way she, takes pictures of herself out on Facebook or whatever, it's very respectable to me, knowing that she's with me only. Right? And to me, that's loyalty. It's that last, we call it fidelity. Right? So there's 3 values that I 100% believe that the female has to bring to the relationship for it to work, which is obviously their beauty, their fitness, their femininity, which is their kindness, their nurturing, acting feminine and not acting like a dude, right? And then their fidelity, right? The truth is, most guys nowadays, especially in this modern day and age, like, I don't need you to be a virgin, right? I don't need you to have like a super low body count, although statistically it does guarantee a higher success of a relationship. But as long as I know that fidelity is mine, and you're not like entertaining any other men options out there, that's the loyalty I'm talking about, right? So I'll die for you. I'll bring all my values to you. I'll spend every money, take care of the kids, work to the bone till my dying day, and that's my loyalty, right? My sex isn't my loyalty, right? Like, my dick isn't loyalty. Like, dude, like Chris Rock says, dick is cheap, like, women don't pay for sex, right? Like, men pay for sex, right? So so men and women show loyalty different. So that, to me, that's loyalty. If you're pretty much, your sexual access is mine only, that's loyalty to me. What do you think, Liz?
I agree, and I think I mentioned it earlier. Like, if women are hitting up my man, it doesn't bother me. But for me, loyalty from a woman's point of view, or at least I know it from my point of view, is I am my man's property. That's it. Like, I don't bother entertaining other men. Like, I have no problem like opening up my Facebook messages right now, and like, you'll see all the messages from these guys that constantly message me. I will not respond to any of them, and my man knows that. But yeah, it's just because he's the one that I want to stay loyal to, then it's just giving him access to me. That's my definition of loyalty. And then from him, like I mentioned earlier, like, he can, if some woman were chasing him or whatnot, or were interested in him, slid into his messages, said, hey, come over, like, you want to fuck or whatever. Well, first I'd be like, you'll invite her over so we can play with her. But but like if I were busy, or if I were out of town for work, and he wasn't doing anything, he said, yo, this girl hit me up, you mind if I like go over? I'll be like, okay, have fun. But that's it. If he were to, spend resources on her, buy her gifts, spend more time with her, like, if he were to develop some sort of emotional connection with her, then that's game over for him. Because like I'm like I know what your value is, and as long as you're providing for me, taking care of me and our family, then that's what I expect. But you know,
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. We don't want simping both ways, right? To me, a woman is simping if she's pretty much giving sex to a dude for free, right? Like if a man's not bringing any finance to the table, not trying to bring anything to provide or protect for her, and literally she's just not claimed from him, right? So like, hey, you want to go fuck some other dude? Go ahead. You know, like I don't really claim you. To me, that's like a woman simping, right? And then obviously a guy simping is like if he's giving her all the money, all the attention, like, oh hey baby, what are you doing today? When are we gonna hang out, do all this stuff, and she's literally just got you in the friend zone, and she's just like, hey, yeah, take me to the restaurant, go, take me to the movies, but, we're not going to have any sex afterwards. I don't think either party wants to simp in that way.
Yeah,
So
like-
to me, that's loyalty.
like
Yeah.
if my man had to pay to get some, I'm like, no.
Yeah, so that's the point. If you're giving your values to someone else, to me, that's cheating, right? So if you're the man and your value is supposed to be money and resources, and you're giving that to someone else in exchange for sex, it's not the sex that's the cheating. It's the fact that you had to give the money and the resources to that other girl to get the sex, right?
I understand your guys' part, but let me ask you this.
Yes.
If your significant other is giving attention more to somebody else, how do you guys feel? Even though that they're not having sex, but they're still giving them attention in... Yeah.
From both genders too. I mean, like obviously, if it's her man giving attention to some other female, or if it's my wife, a girl.
Yes.
Okay, you want to answer that first, Liz?
Well, let's see. If he was giving it to her, or if she was giving him attention and he wasn't reciprocating.
He was giving attention to her more than you.
Oh, I'd have an issue with that because, like, I'm devoting myself to you. Like, if I could understand if some girl was wanting to put out because, I wasn't around or because I, like, whatever. But if he was giving her more attention and I was around, then we'd have an issue with that. But then again, I mean, is she chasing him or is he chasing her? Because if he is chasing another woman, I would also have an issue with that. Like, while I don't mind him sleeping with another woman, as long as it's the other woman that's constantly chasing him, like, I don't want him to be having to chase another woman. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, the answer is simple. I mean, as a guy, if my girlfriend or my wife is paying someone else more attention, that's clear grounds for divorce. Like, I'm walking away. Like, get the hell out of here. Like, I have no problem with that. You know what I'm saying? I'm walking away. Right? That's, to me, that's what we get back to the subject of loyalty, right? That's loyalty. Like, I'm supposed to be your guy, right? So every attention is supposed to be. Now, in terms of, like, if she gets attention from other dudes, well, how does she get that attention? Is she, like, putting herself out there to get that attention? Then, yeah, I would have a problem with that, right? Because that means you're advertising yourself out there, right? Like, why are you advertising yourself if you're with me, right? So, let's be honest. Women can easily get attention, right? So if you're putting yourself out there on social media, that means you're wanting that attention, right? So to me, it's a simple answer. If my wife was giving somebody else attention, that means she's no longer interested in me. I'm not the main man. She doesn't find me worthy enough to, submit to. I know those words sounds harsh. I know a lot of women like submit, right? But in essence, I'm supposed to be the leader, right? So I'm supposed to be the one leading the relationship. And if she no longer wants to be underneath my leadership, that means I'm not qualified for her anymore. So I would walk away. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
If I was paying attention to someone else, once again, I have to make this clear because this is a hugely debated topic in this manosphere as well too. Is that, like, if I'm paying attention to somewhere else, and once again, it's my values. Right? If I'm just going out there and having sex with some chick, I know I wouldn't do it. I know my wife would be pissed at me to do it because obviously, no one wants to a married couple having their guy go have sex with another girl. But the truth of the matter is, if I wasn't spending any money on her and I was literally just getting it for free, I guarantee you my wife would be like, so what? Right?
I've heard a statistic before. that men can go and sleep with any women and still go home and love their wife, but it's not the other way around. Women could go sleep with a man, but then she does not love her husband anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys agree with that. I'm interested.
Yeah. I mean, I'll let you answer first, Liz, but go ahead. Yeah.
I do agree because for like what we've been saying, for a man, sex is not like, cheating, right? When women cheat, when women go look for a partner elsewhere, it's because they no longer feel confident with the man that they're with, that he can no longer provide for them, keep them safe, whatever it may be. That's why they say when a woman cheats, she's no longer in love. She can no longer love her previous partner because she's looking for something better. That is why women cheat, or so that's the rest of that statistic. But for men, again, sex is not like a value that he brings like that, right? So if you're a guy. If a whole bunch of women just threw themselves at you and you knew there was no remorse or whatnot, like, why not, right?
Yeah. To me, it's very clear cut. It goes back to the values, right? If a man is going to just have sex with a woman and he doesn't provide any of his resources to her, he can totally do that, right? Shoot, if I could have sex for free every single day with a different female every single day and my wife wouldn't be upset with me, I'd totally do that every single day. And I would not commit to those girls at all or those women at all. I wouldn't die for them. I wouldn't take a bullet for them. I wouldn't spend any money on them. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't use any of my status connections on them. Like, oh, I know this person, to give them any status connections. It'd be purely physical, just having sex. You know what I'm saying? But when I'm willing to die for you, and if I'm willing to like give up my life for you, to provide for you and the kids, that's my commitment, right? So I'm only going to do that for one woman, right? I'm not going to do that for multiple women.
And I see that across a lot of religions, actually, because I don't want to bash it, but I think it was Muslims that do that, where they have multiple wives.
Islam,
And I was really interested. I never really looked into it, but I was just like, how do the wives feel? Like, because in Western, it's just one husband, one wife. And I understand that because I'm a Western dude myself. But then I see these videos of these dudes with like 9 wives. I wonder how those women must feel. I don't know if
yeah, so I can touch on that because the religion states that if you're going to have multiple wives, you have to treat each one equally. And you have to take care of them and their kids equally. That's the key. So it's not like every guy can do this. See, therein lies the problem is we're talking about a very select few men. We're talking once again the top 5% of men, right? Like I know myself. Like I told my wife this. Like like I hope that you guys can have an honest conversation with whoever your significant other, whoever your wife is in the future. But I have these talks with my wife all the time about that. This is how brutally honest we are together. I don't have the financial means to have more than one wife, man. It costs a lot of money what I'm doing already. Like, I got to pay for damn kids' sports. I'm already working 15 hours a day. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love this conversation we're having right now with you guys staying late. But, every day I wake up at 5 o'clock, and I get home at freaking 10 o'clock, and I'm up until 1 o'clock in the morning, So I don't have the time, let alone the money, to be spending on multiple wives and kids, And then there's only... Like, guys, if we're good men and we are morally prudent, good men, we have our heads on straight and we know that what we're supposed, our duties are, we're not going to do that shit. Because look about, like, I have 3 kids. Like, I only have so much time for my kids. I have only so much time to go watch their sports, teach them, talk to them, raise them correctly, right? If I got fucking like 8 baby mamas and freaking, 3 kids from each 8, I don't got time for all those damn kids.
Yeah.
Be like Elon Musk.
Yeah, the only people that have time for that stuff, we're talking the 0.0001%.
Yeah.
Right? And then, of course, the dudes that are that, the ratchet dudes that have multiple baby mamas, obviously you can tell it's not working out right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So to me, like, those religions are social constructs. You have to remember at one time, the Western religion, when we're talking Catholicism or Christianity, it was a way to pretty much attach that woman to the man. See, a lot of people don't know their history. That woman was literally your property when you got married to them. It isn't only in recent times when our religion keeps changing over time that they made it a union and that they made men and women equal within that union. But before that, the religion was set in place so that way men wouldn't fight over women, right? Because like if I wanted a girl, I'd be like, okay, I'll kill that dude and I'll take her girl, right? That was kind of how the old ways were, right? Yeah. And so religion was okay, cool. You want a guaranteed virgin. You want that wife to be only yours. Well, we have this higher God entity being that says, hey, you're vowed to him now, right? And so that way you know that child is yours, right? Because we didn't have DNA testing back then, right? Yeah. So it was like, hey, she's a virgin, she's committed to you only underneath this religion of God, and if you fucking, if you break this vow that you took, you're going to hell, right? And everyone was scared of hell. No one wanted to go to hell. And so it wasn't only until recent times that we made it, okay, now men and women are equal, right? And then you guys are both joined in this union. And then obviously you boys both aren't supposed to cheat, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, the religion makes sense. The reason why religion doesn't work now, and this is the conversation that happens with a lot of trad cons out there, like Matt Walsh and Ben Shapiro. Love those guys, right? Like they speak a lot of truth. But what they don't understand is the current dating market. It only works if both sides believes in that social construct. Right? If women were virgins still, they didn't think that they were boss babes or 304s, and they held their values traditional, right? And the men was traditional, then it makes sense, right? But when women aren't traditional and the men think that they're still traditional, your values aren't going to align, right? Yeah. And so it's unfortunate that we're in this place within our culture. But unless you're Islamic, like you were talking about, and in some of those countries, they still adhere, to those very strict things. And there's huge consequences, right? Yeah. Because if you're a promiscuous woman, you're going to get shamed by society. You're going to get, ousted by society. But we don't have that here in the Western world, Shoot, the church isn't shaming anybody anymore. I mean, I say it on this channel all the time. That's why I'm not religious anymore. I used to be, Catholic. I used to be a huge Catholic, but the church doesn't have their standards anymore. Yeah. So, yeah. So yeah, that to answer your long-winded question. I answer. I'm sorry, but yeah.
You good?
Yeah.
No, I did.
Yeah.
You got questions?
No. It's a lot. Jaden's like, I'm taking this all in. I'm gonna use this to my advantage. Like, dude, I think guys, being RP aware, being aware of what the real truth, especially in this Western world. Because like you guys can get ruined, like I was saying, like, I'm lucky my wife loves me. I'm lucky that we're both traditional, but shit, if my wife decided tomorrow, hey, I'm going to leave Twan, she can definitely leave me. The courts are going to be in her favor. She's going to take my kids and I'm going to have to freaking pay, child support. I'd be pretty much ruined. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing that we just got to be careful out there as men and as young men, for you guys yourselves, just be aware of that stuff, but
get prenups.
Well, yeah, I mean, prenups help, and obviously get a good lawyer if you're going to do that. But then, it's just kind of weird, right? Because, like, there's this notion of, well, if I'm going to get a prenup and I have to get my wife to sign it and all this.
You lose the trust in that.
Yeah, there's already a trust factor. But this is the unfortunate reality, right? You got to do it in this day and age, right? So, yeah, I think it's really cool not to continue, just keep giving you guys compliments. But, I mean, I think you guys really have a good head on your shoulders and finding this information out at such a young age. I think it's really good for you guys, Don't discount what you guys are doing is what I'm trying to say. Just keep up and keep valuing your values. If I was your dad, and I'm not saying I am, right? But if I'm an old man, how about this? How about if I'm an old man giving you guys advice, right? What I would say is just be the best values that you guys can be, right? Because in this dating market, women are no longer looking at one value anymore. They're not looking at like the Chad, like you, Benji, right? Or they're not looking at like someone who has his shit together and trying to get his finances and status together like the two of you guys are trying to do, right? They're looking for the total package, right? So go work out, get your fitness together, be in the best shape you can be, right? Work on your looks. Like you guys talk about looking at what your clothes you wear, the freaking cars you drive, right? Like really work on that look of what is you. Right. And then, of course, work on your finances, get your money, get your, all the career stuff in play. And then with that, you're going to get status, right? You're going to get famous either by doing the LowCulture stuff, which I know you guys will eventually do with this mindset. Right. And then, of course, become famous on Instagram or social media, or whatever. And that's what women are looking for. every woman's looking for that, unfortunately. Yeah. Anything you want to add to that, Liz? No.
I mean, I agree that, women are looking for more than one value now. But I think if you just keep working on yourself, like what Tuan said, I mean, realistically, high value men should never go chasing a woman because,
Good
you know,
point.
the right woman will come, like, she'll know your worth and she'll chase you. I don't ever think like a man should ever chase a woman. If you're chasing a woman for her attention, whatever, pussy, then something's wrong. But know your worth, and the right woman will come.
And it puts you in a bad position already because she's gonna think that you're for lack of better words, like you're lesser than her, right? Because if you're chasing her, then she's gonna say, okay, well, hey, this dude is lesser value than me because he's chasing me already, right?
She'll start taking advantage. Oh, you want to go on a date with me? You gotta buy me this, take me out here.
Yeah.
No, like a woman that knows a man's real value, she will chase him. Like every guy that's chased me, I've never went after them. Like the guy that I want, I have no problem pursuing him.
Yeah. Now the problem though you will run into though is if you become that top tier van, right? Which I 100% once again believe that both of you guys are capable of doing this. Then the problem is you do have this issue with like, does she want me for just my money or just who I am? And that is difficult, right? Because just the reality, you have to be comfortable in your skin. I'm hoping at that point you guys realize that I'm confident to realize that I am a high value man. And the reason why she wants me is because I'm a high value man. So she does want me for my money. She does want me for my status. She does want me for the fact that I'm in better shape than everyone else around me, right? So just realize that as long as you know that she's loyal to you, right? What did we just talk about earlier about loyal, right?
Yeah.
As long as she's only committing to you, then you know you got a good woman, right? The other thing you can do is obviously try to build it from a young age, right? Like, go get somebody that's both young. Your values aren't there yet. Her values aren't there yet. And then you guys build together. But once again, that's like putting all your eggs in the basket, right? And like Benji was saying, even though, yes, a man's fitness isn't, like the best at that, younger age, he can get it later. You are still losing a lot of your life chasing that girl and trying to commit to that girl at a young age, So, yeah, it is what it is. So let's wrap up the show because I know everyone's got to go. But what besides the this car show that you guys got coming on the 30th, and obviously kind of what you guys are pushing direction, anything else you guys want to say out to all the viewers and maybe anybody else that's maybe interested of joining your guys' car club, right? What do you guys? How would they go about reaching you guys to kind of sign up and be part of what you guys are doing? Because I think what you guys are doing are great.
To become a member, we typically post on our story. People slide up because if we go up to somebody with a nice car, then how I see it, they'll think they're too good for the group. But some people, I think we've gone some people like that of us asking them, or has everybody asked to be in? I think everyone's asked to be in.
Everyone like asked us, or like we asked them.
Because we posted a story, we've gone members by saying slide up and send a photo of your car. We check out the car and we send it to the three of us and we talk about it. That's typically what we do. What we look for, got to be low for sure, and it's got to be something unique. I think everybody has a sort of unique build in our car group. Everyone has a certain. They could have the same car. We have a few RSXs in there and TLs, but they're all different. They all have their certain uniqueness to them, and that's what we like. And we also like people who, like I go back to, who build their car and work on their car, because we see the hard work that they're putting in. So you may not see the results right away, but you will see it later on. So that's what we like to see.
So how often are you guys posting these stories up so that way the girls out there that might be interested can look out for the stories?
I think the last time we did polls was probably a couple months ago. Yeah. But we're planning to do it pretty soon though. We're just planning out like other stuff before we even get back into recruiting other people into our group. Um,
When accepting people into our group doesn't mean you're in there forever. If you're, we like people who are active, because if you're not active, how are you supporting our group? You're not posting, you're not tagging us, you're not talking to us. So you may have a nice car, but you still have to be active. You still have to support. And if you're not doing that, then sadly we're gonna have to let you go. Even though you have a nice car, we're gonna have to let you go. And we've had a couple interactions like that before. All love, no hard feelings. All love to all those people, but we like people keep moving forward instead of holding us back. So anybody who we know that can help us create a better picture for LowCulture, we're definitely gonna accept them.
Not only that, it's also family too. Like for people to be coming into our group, we treat them like family, and we kind of expect them to treat us like family as well, like treat each other as family. And if anyone doesn't want to do that, like, which is not being active, like being offline, not communicating, we just like, it's just super no hard feelings, but we have to give you guys the boot, even though your car is really nice.
We don't like doing that, but we have to take initiative to show we are the leaders. We have to show that we're not playing around, that just because you're in a group, now you're in the group, now you could say you're in LowCulture, but you can only say you're in LowCulture if you actually are supporting, you're actually putting work into it. So we don't, it's not like I'm a tag stage and I never go to stage or anything like that. I have to come use you guys' business, support you guys. But if you have a really nice car and you're not doing anything like that, then what's the point of being in it?
Yeah. No, those are very good words, guys. Very, very informative and wise words. The saying is, right, put your money where your mouth is, right? But sometimes we forget that money is time.
Yeah.
Right? If you're not willing to put your time, and sometimes, it could be hard, right? You guys talk about all the time how your family has arguments, right? But at the end of the day, it's all love. Yeah. And the fact that you can talk to one another is the key, right? The fact that you can communicate to one another is the key. It's not love if you can't communicate. If you're not talking to each other, that means you guys aren't loving each other. I mean, that's 100% relationships or even friendship, right? If you can't talk to each other, then that means there's really no respect there, So, no, those are really wise words. I think you guys are going to be super successful with this mindset, because trust me, I've been a business owner for over 20-something years now, multiple businesses. And all these things that you guys just mentioned helps you with that aspect, helps you be a good leader, helps you obviously form good relationships that are going to make those business partnership type of relationships. Well, I'll be honest with you guys. If someone doesn't talk to me, I don't do business with them.
Yeah.
That's the honest truth. If you're not on point, meaning you don't show up on time, it's like all the basic prerequisites, right? If you tell me one thing, but then you don't actually come through what you tell me to, if you just talk, I'm not going to do business with you. And then communication is the key too, right? Be upfront with each other, right? Tell people what you want. That's what I loved about you guys when I first met you guys. Is like you said, hey, I'm going to do this. This is what we're going to do. I had requests for you guys, and you guys gave me those requests right away, like who's all showing up and, what cars and that type of stuff. So that communication, that honesty, like I said, I'd rather have someone tell me I hate your guts to my face than say that behind my back. I mean, that's just the honest truth, So no, I think you guys have great heads on your shoulders, man. You guys are gonna go far.
Thanks so much.
Really appreciate it. Really
Thanks so
appreciate
much,
it.
Twan.
Yeah.
Thanks so much to everyone here, and not even that, everyone at stage, like the whole team.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, everyone's. When I came, everyone's kind of like a family here as well, which I really like the atmosphere. I think if everyone likes each other at the workspace, then everyone's gonna work better at the end. But maybe since we support each other so much, maybe we could do another collab.
Right.
Yeah. No, I've been talking about that already. This year we want to go out to guys. We want to go out to the events more this year and not host that many events. Although the holiday season's around the corner, it comes by so fast. So I'm sure we'll partner up with another holiday event,
For sure.
maybe another toy drive, maybe another food drive again. But this year we wanted to go out to the actual events like the import race off. I know there's WEC Fest as well too. I know what's the big
Honda
one in
Fest.
June? Oh yeah, Honda Fest
Honda
in
Fest.
July.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I know we're planning to have a booth out there this
Mm.
year, so hopefully we can support you guys out there as well.
Of course.
Hopefully we'll have a car by then as well too, and we can bring a car out there to obviously show for ourselves as well
For
too.
sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be for sure attending Honda Fest, so you'll see me
Yeah.
there.
Okay,
Yeah,
awesome.
sure.
So guys, yeah, watch out for that partnership. I mean, I don't know if you guys want to partner up with us at that time, but you're definitely, I'm open to that door to do that. But we'll definitely support each other, obviously, in moral support and
For
everything.
sure, for
else.
sure.
Yeah,
We'll be in
likewise.
contact. We'll be in contact.
Yeah. So hey guys, go check out LowCulture. You guys have an Instagram page, Facebook, and all that stuff,
Yes.
right? What's the Facebook and the Instagram? Why don't you drop that real quick again?
Facebook is the same. We don't really post much on Facebook because
Okay.
Yeah.
typically it's older people on Facebook.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Like the Facebook
Yeah.
ones and everything.
Okay.
I will shout out my own. It's S2K, but you spell it weird. Everyone gets my name wrong. I think I think he read it wrong as well.
Yeah. It was
Alright.
funny.
But it's clever. I like it.
Oh, how do you spell it?
ESTOUKAE.
Okay.
So you
Gotcha.
spell S2K by spelling S2K.
Ah,
Yeah.
got it. Almost kind of like a Latin kind of way a little bit too, right?
It's unique. That's what I like about it.
Okay, gotcha. So that's your Instagram page.
Yes, sir.
What about your guys' car club Instagram page? Is that
Instagram page is just at LowCulture LOWCULTURE and then .NW for Northwest.
It's your own Instagram.
My own too.
yeah?
Shit.
Drop your own Instagram out there.
Let the lady
Um,
slide in.
Yes.
All right, yeah. My Instagram page is just at Jaden Vong, JADN, and then VON, and then 2 G's. So yeah.
Cool. Hey guys, go support them. Like I said, they're doing great things. Good for the community. I think having good young kids doing the right thing too, not getting into trouble, not promoting the whole burnout, hoonigan on the residential street stuff. Right. Let's continue promoting that in the community because we don't want our shows to get shut down. We don't want our community to have a bad light on everyone. Right. And then go just support the car community as a whole. Right. And then the older generation. Let me plead to the older generation right now. Support the kids, support the young youth doing this activity because it can lead. I mean, I hope that I'm a good sign of what it could be. I mean, maybe these guys will be entrepreneurs in their own right. You don't have to be just a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer to become successful, right? You can do other things in this modern age day and now to be successful, right? But hey, guys, thank you so much for joining the podcast. Definitely join us the next time. We'll have some more guests. But I'll check you guys on the next one.
See you
Peace.
guys.
Yep.